What's going on, Washington Commanders Nation? It's your boy Rio Robinson checking in with the latest and greatest on the Rambling with Rio YouTube channel, where we ramble about the Washington Commanders coming off the biggest win in Ron Rivera's tenure with the team last night when we upset the undefeated Philadelphia Eagles at the Link 32-21. It's a momentous day. I hope everyone had a beautiful day as it's Tuesday, November 15th. So to celebrate and commemorate this victory, I had to go get the big dogs. I had to go get the gatekeepers of this Washington Redskins football team Commanders YouTube community. So I'm gonna bring my guys in. First up, we got the real Ed Oliver, not the guy in Buffalo. What's going on, my boy?
What's up, man? Big win, man. Big win. Philly fans sick right now. Riding this high right now, man. We went in there, took their cookies, Philly cheesesteaks, all that. Hold on, wait a minute. Y'all thought I was finished, man. Big win, but thank you for having me on, man.
Oh, yeah, we got that boy repping Georgia coming in the building, too. My boy Rico from Street Scores. What's good, my guy?
What's going on with y'all, man? What's good, Ed? What's good, Rio? Man, I'm excited, man, coming off of a great win. Nobody expected us to win, even the vast majority of our fan base, so it
including
feels
me.
Good, man.
Including me. I definitely picked us to lose, bro.
I did, too, with money on the line.
Hey, bro. The fact that we actually pulled that game out is – I watched the full condensed version of the game again, man. This one feels good, man. Like, let us have this. Like, I hear Eagles fans, man, y'all still 5-5 and y'all at the bottom of the division. No, let us have this, bro. No one rained on your parade when y'all was beating bad teams for 8 weeks.
Yeah, exactly. They're projecting. That's all it is. They're projecting.
Hell yeah. So I'm gonna start with you, Rico. What was your biggest takeaway coming out of that game yesterday?
There's a lot. It's really hard to narrow it down to one, but Joey Sly, man. I mean, because first of all, he scored 14 points in his own. So that says something in the game that close to, really the last 6 points was kind of a fluke. But also there could be a trickle-down effect. One of his field goals that he made, there was the longest one. It was going into halftime, so it doesn't matter. But I mean, of course, we'll take the points. But one of the other really long field goals, if he misses that, the Eagles start with better field positioning. You don't know if they go down and score off of that. Instead of starting on their own 25 after we kick it off, they probably start on like the 40-something. And who knows what happens after that. So him making every PAT, going 4 for 4 on field goals was huge time.
Hell yeah. And before I get to Ed, who else could it be but our guy Louis T in the building coming off? This man was streaming. It felt like to 5 a.m. last night. This guy is in the building right now. The GOAT. What's going on, Lou?
Hey, nothing much, man. Like you said, last night was a late night, but it was a good night, boy. I tell you what, man. Damn, that felt good.
It did.
Yeah, that felt good.
It did. I've been basking in this victory all day, and that's why I'm trying to tell these Eagles, they're really sick right now. Y'all sliced over one game. Bro, listen, we don't get many like what happened last night. We just apparently, if you're a Pennsylvania team with an undefeated record past the halfway point of the season, you want no parts of Washington.
You're right. That's right. 2020 Steelers. Now the Eagles. That's the second time we've blessed the 72 Dolphins in the last 3 years. So,
hell yeah, Mercury Morris and company, they love the guys.
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. It was it's crazy because I knew we were capable of beating them. I felt like we matched up well with them, but I didn't think we were going to do what we did to them in terms of dominating the time of possession the way that we did, converting 12 of 21 third downs. Running it on first down, running it on second down, being in third and manageable. It was just shocking to watch us play 4 quarters of ball. That's the first game all season long we played 4 quarters of ball and scored in every single quarter. That's the first time we've done it this season.
The most the most eye-popping, jarring stat was when they said when we scored that touchdown in the first quarter. This is the first quarter touchdown they've had since week 1.
Yeah,
that's crazy, bro. Yeah. September 11th. It's been over 2 months since we had a first quarter touchdown. That's wild. That's wild. And to see us have 20 up at halftime, that's crazy.
Now that's the part that blew my damn mind because we're lucky if we get to 20. 17 is usually our cutoff. So to have 20 in the first half. Like, wait a minute, what is going on right now?
Hell
That was
yeah.
crazy.
Hell yeah. Ed, biggest takeaway from the game last night.
I got so many, man. Casey Hill, he can't gritty, but he did his thing on the last play. I appreciate that.
That was the gentrified gritty.
that was the what's my dude for the Dolphins? I told him he got to stop.
Oh, Gesicki.
Mike Gesicki, like, bro, stop trying to gritty, man. Just let it go.
Yeah, but there's so many, man. Slay can't check Terry, man. Terry did his thing last night, man. I'm gonna give it up to Scott Turner a little bit too, man. He actually ran the football and he stuck with it. That's something I've been begging for him to do from week 3 when we got our butts kicked. Like, he changed the whole game plan. He stuck with it. B-Rob is a dog. Gibson's a dog. And Ben St. Juice, man, he's getting better each week. Like, he had a tough week against Justin Jefferson last week, but he's stuck in there. He made it tough for Justin Jefferson. He made it tough for Devontae. He made it tough for A.J. Brown. Even when Quez caught the ball on him, we don't win that game with Ben St. Juice forcing the fumble. And Derek Forrest, man, our secondary, these young guys, Cam Curls had a heck of a year too. The defense is getting better week by week. So I have so many takeaways, but that was Scott's best game so far in the whole season. Shout out to Ben St. Juice too, man. And nobody can check Terry, man. So this team's, they're playing well together, man. They're playing good football. I don't want to get too ahead of myself with the schedule. But they're playing together, man. They're playing good football. They're playing complementary football.
It's definitely easy to jump a little bit ahead of ourselves. Lou, what was your biggest take? There's a whole mixing pot of things to deep dive from that game last night. But what was your biggest takeaway from our glorious victory in the Link last night?
That we're capable of playing 4 quarters of football. That we're capable of forcing turnovers. We forced 4 turnovers last night. Like, I mean, the Eagles had turned it over 3 times the entire season, and we forced 4 turnovers of the Eagles last night. Joey Sly, 2 big kicks, 58 and 55. I mean, when's the last time you've seen a Washington kicker bang it home from 58 and 55 respectively?
I swear it's never happened.
Exactly. So, I mean, that was refreshing to see. I mean, we're always the team that, goes 3 and out before half, and the other team gets in the field goal range and has their kicker make a 57-yard field goal before halftime. But we actually were the one to score a touchdown, get a stop, 3 and out, get the ball back, and get a 58-yard field goal before halftime. I mean, it was so many good things. It was complimentary football. All 3 phases of the game stepped up. Special teams was outstanding. Almost had a block punt. We ain't had one of those in 25 years, feels like.
Yeah, I've never seen it.
I mean, we don't do it. I think we blocked a punt from the Giants like maybe 5 or 6 years ago.
Nate Orchard.
Oh, yeah. Nate Orchard.
Like 2 years ago.
What a name.
It's crazy. But we don't do that. So that was a huge play in the game because it forced them to, kick the ball again, and it forced the 2-minute warning to pretty much use up that timeout that it would have provided for them. So, I mean, it was so many different things in the game, but I think the biggest takeaway for me was just all phases of the game coming together and doing their part, carrying their weight, and us scoring points into every single quarter, including the first quarter, as you mentioned, 20 points in the first half. It was an eye-opening performance by this team.
Hell yeah.
And just for the kicker thing, that 58-yarder is the longest field goal the Washington kicker has made since Graham Gano hit a 59-yarder against San Francisco in 2011.
Hell yeah, I remember that. 11 years ago.
Yeah.
But you know what I'm going to say, too? Why in the world did Nick Sirianni not take that penalty, though? But I'll take the gift.
He was tripping. Yeah. I think he thought in his mind he didn't want anything to happen in terms of like a 5-yard hands to the face penalty, give us a first down or anything like that. I think he was like, all right, you made one before, but I don't trust you to make another one. Make another 50-plus yard field goal.
Right.
But if he takes the penalty, Scott Turner more likely than not, and he don't know Scott like we know Scott. He probably gonna call the damn screen. The shit's not gonna work. He probably lose 2 more yards, and we'll be out of field goal range. But he didn't know that, So he said, "Nah, we gonna decline the penalty. Make a 55-yard. I dare you." And that shit barely cleared the bar. Like the 58 was good from like 63.
Hell yeah. 55, that shit look good from 64, 65.
Right. That shit hit the net. You know what I'm saying?
Hell yeah.
The 55-yarder, that shit barely cleared the bar. So if he takes that penalty, I don't think he makes that kick. But I'm glad he didn't. I really appreciate it.
Sly was out that joint like, listen, bro, they're gonna give me some. They're gonna let me breathe if I miss another extra point today, bro. Y'all ain't gonna forget this performance, bro. My man Abel said, "Has anyone found AJ Brown?" Yo, Lou is hilarious, trolling the shit out of Lord Brunson. He's been looking for Arthur Juan Brown Sr. Since last night. Our receiver, you know, the one that we say is the best receiver in the division. He's gave them 100 yards twice. He's actually the only receiver to go for 100 yards on the Eagles, and he's done it both games so far with two different quarterbacks. Put some respect on Terry. Did y'all notice after he caught a corner route last night, did y'all hear him say, "Don't put no fucking safety on me"? Did y'all hear that shit on the broadcast?
I didn't hear that. I didn't hear that. Oh, man, I missed that.
Watch the highlights after he catches the corner route that, like, Taylor hung up there for like an hour, but it was a good throw. Yeah. Like, you hear, man, don't put no fucking safety on me.
Hey, Terry in his bag right now, man. Like, he really feeling himself. And I think the thing he likes about Taylor is, even though Taylor is dangerous as hell, Taylor's going to give him a chance. You know, other quarterbacks don't necessarily give him opportunities to go make plays. Taylor's seeking him out and actively trying to get him the football, which is something that we've been crying for as the fan base. Get Terry more involved. Taylor Heinicke, sometimes to a fault, as we saw last night a couple of times, forcing it to him in double coverage when he had Curtis Samuel up the seam wide open for potentially a touchdown. But he's going to give Terry opportunities, and I think Terry definitely appreciates that.
And potentially on the throw that he threw the pick where he forced in a double coverage, he puts that shit on his left outside shoulder. That shit could have still been a play, but he put that joint, he threw a duck. Because you know
I'm about to say that shit was wounded. That was
paper airplane.
Yeah. That was a YOLO ball.
That joint was looking like Peyton in his last season when Peyton couldn't get the ball 20 yards anymore. That joint was looking terrible. But
Denard Robinson.
Oh my God, Jesus Christ! I'm definitely turning the page. I'm ready to turn the page with I'm coming around with the Taylor Heinicke thing because I understand his value now. I stand by what I say when I say that he's a limited quarterback and stuff like that. But right now he's the quarterback of this football team. Like he galvanizes this team. The locker room gravitates to the guy. Like, to keep it real, like my first point of the night, they not putting them chains on Carson Wentz last night. They not putting them chains and the glasses on Carson Wentz last night and drinking with him on a plane, bro. Like, I just don't see it. I don't see them doing that. They get along with this guy differently. Like, he makes this team, he's kind of the glue to what goes on here. Should we plan a future around him and give him a wedding ring for long term? No. But for right now, I don't see that there's any way we could go back to Carson Wentz. And I'm going to open this up to all of y'all. Like, would it make any – like, say Carson gets cleared tomorrow to start practicing. Would it make any sense for Carson to start this or next week? Like, Rico, I'll start with you.
No. Plain and simple. Carson Wentz was fun. Deep bombs to De'Ami Brown. Appreciate it. But – with the way this offensive line improved yesterday, but we all know this offensive line is better tailored to a Taylor because he can move around when things break down, and Carson Wentz can't do that. I mean, maybe with a clean pocket, maybe you prefer Carson Wentz, even though he'll make the more difficult throws, he'll miss the easier ones. So it's still kind of a debate there. But while the offensive line still has injuries, I mean, Chase Roulier, Wes Weiss is still hurt. Samuel Cosmi coming in and out of the game, that was kind of weird. And Charles Leno allowing the strip sack, Cornelius Lucas penalty, and then allow a sack. Taylor Heinicke's legs are necessary for this offense to function the way that it is under Scott Turner. And then also, I mean, of course, we all know it. I'm pretty sure the Commanders won't admit it, but we don't want Carson Wentz to reach that certain threshold of snaps to get that third-round conditional picks turns into a second. So with benefit.
Yeah. Hell yeah. And yeah, respect to the Eagles fans who aren't taking the loss so crazy today. I seen a dude about to break his TV, all kinds of shit. Like, bro, it's your first loss of the season.
Hey, they acting like they just got eliminated from the playoffs, boy. You can tell they spoiled them. I mean, did you see Nick Sirianni at halftime?
Yeah,
man,
bro.
He slammed down his headset. You heard the crowd at halftime? They was booing him off the field. I'm like, y'all gotta be kidding me.
That's what they do. That's what Philly does.
I'm like, this shit is crazy. They turned on their own squad in the first half. It's wild.
Oh yeah, man, it's crazy. Like Nick Sirianni was making Eli Manning faces for 4 quarters last night. Like he didn't look comfortable, and I'm glad because I like the swagger and the bravado from Nick Sirianni, but he ain't my team's coach, so I don't like that shit. Like he carries himself like he's been here, he's done that, and he's seen the promised land. You know that map that Ron always talks about? Y'all need to draw him a map. Yeah. Nick Sirianni acts like he has the map completed already, and he's already been there and back to the promised land, and like he's God's gifts to coaching. And I'm glad that he was humbled a bit last night. Is there any way we go back to Wentz, Lou?
There definitely is a way that we go back to Wentz. This staff, are you kidding me?
Oh yeah, I know.
Like,
stubborn as hell.
I just there's a part of me that says that they want to prove that they were right about Carson Wentz, and they feel like, and I've said this: we failed Carson Wentz, then he failed us, but we failed him first by not putting an adequate line in front of him.
Yep.
And I think in their minds, they're telling themselves, if with this line that we've put together now, it's much more functional and stable. He can function behind this line and show that this offense can be even more dynamic with him under center. And so they can convince themselves of that. And so I'm not sure. Now, listening to Ron today, I got the sense that he was leaning towards Taylor, right? But he said it was going to be a joint decision. He was going to take input from Scott Turner and Ken Zampese. So anything could happen. Scott could say, hey, look, love Taylor, love what he brings to the table, but we went and got Carson for a reason. We've got the offensive line fixed. I'd like to see what Carson can do with the offensive line being, better than what it was before he got injured. And I could see Ken Zampese co-signing that. So to me, Ron wants to run the football. You're more likely to run the football if Taylor Heinicke is under center. Right. And the thing that bothers me, there's 2 things that really bother me with Carson Wentz. I don't know what the hell happened to his mobility, because he was mobile last year in Indy, right? He didn't have any leg injuries here in Washington. There was nothing wrong with him in the offseason. He had some injuries last year, but he played through them, and he was mobile last year with the Colts. Yeah. All of a sudden, he can't move. It's like he lacks pocket presence, doesn't know where the pitch is coming from. He doesn't move well, and that just doesn't bode well for this particular team with our offensive line and what we are looking for from the quarterback position. And then, like Rico said, he misses easy throws. And so the thing you can count on Taylor for is the little stuff underneath. Taylor, first of all, knows where to go with the football most of the time, and he's accurate with it underneath. Where he struggles is you pushing the football down the field vertically, but with Carson, it'll be a 5-yard out, and he'll spray that shit 3 yards out of bounds.
Hell yeah, he's throwing that shit in the second row.
It's 3rd and 4, and that's an easy 5-yard throw for a first down, and you spraying it out of bounds. You killing me, bro. So that's the stuff that I can't stomach. You know what I'm saying? So I think that Ron is leaning towards, Taylor because of the momentum that he's built, but I don't put anything past this staff.
Hell yeah. Hey, appreciate the 199 super. He said I'm going to design a t-shirt. Terry McLaurin slaying Slay since 2019. Oh, that's fire, bro.
Yeah.
You better beat somebody to that, because somebody might take that shit and run with it, bro. Like that's a fire shirt. Yeah. I'll definitely get one of those from you, man. Yeah. I appreciate it, man. What's going on, y'all? But hey, anyway, we go back to Wentz, and matter of fact, before you go, I know everyone knows this coaching staff, like Lou said, bro. This coaching staff, they don't normally execute with foresight, with vision, and for necessarily what's best for the team. Shouldn't they include the locker room in this decision? Because I know they run the show and they're the coaches of the team, but it's very clear the whole fucking team loves Taylor Heinicke. They love him. It's not just the team. It's the fans, the locker room, the coaching staff. He knows the system. It just feels like it would be wrong if they just try to Wentz right back out there. And somebody, I'm trying to think who, I think it was like Dominique Foxworth or somebody. They asked the panel today on ESPN, Give me one reason Carson Wentz should go back for the Commanders without saying the words contract or $28 million. And it was crickets on the set. Like nobody had any legit answer. It was like, exactly. They should keep feeding the hot hand. They should go to Heinicke. Ed, go ahead.
100%. I mean, you look at the way John Allen was looking at Taylor Heinicke with googly eyes when they won that first game against the Packers. But yeah, Wentz can't move, man. Like I don't think we won that game last night with Wentz in there. I don't think we win a couple games that Heinicke won. Honestly, especially behind this offensive line, you need a guy with mobility that can extend plays. Yes, you're going to get some bad plays from Taylor, but you're going to get some magic Houdini plays from Taylor too. Right now, he's really giving me Todd Collins vibes. He's giving me Gus Frerotte vibes. I really feel like we have an opportunity to go on a run with Taylor Heinicke. He finds Terry McLaurin more. He does throw up the YOLO balls, but that's what Terry needs sometimes. He just needs somebody to give him a chance. Mm-hmm. Right now, Wentz wasn't giving him that chance. I think Wentz, honestly, he had a better connection with Jahan and a better connection with Curtis than he really had with Terry, honestly. And I think right now Terry's playing a lot better with Heinicke at the quarterback position right now. So he galvanizes the team. I know it sounds like a Disney movie, The Intangibles, but they do rally around this guy. It does. But he really gets the troops ready to go. Guys play harder for him. It's just something in the air. It's giving me Nick Foles vibes too. Like quarterbacks who replace Carson Wentz, they do well. Look at Jalen Hurts now. He replaced Carson Wentz. Look at Nick Foles. He replaced Carson Wentz. They just do well. And right now, that's what we need. And I think he forces Scott Turner to run the ball more, where they're not trying to drop back Carson Wentz and prove to everybody that we got the guy on Carson Wentz that he can throw the ball. Now, the Bears game, I couldn't stomach watching that game. So after that game, he needed to sit. The Titans game, the 1 yard line, he could have threw 3 picks on the 1 yard. He threw the one out of bounds. That could have been a pick. Yeah. Then he threw one, and he eventually he did throw a pick, but he could have threw a pick 2 plays before he threw the pick on that 1 yard, the 2 yard line against the Titans. He could have thrown like back-to-back picks.
Oh yeah, in
that possession right there. So yeah, I've seen enough, and I'm not saying Carson is a bad quarterback, but like Louis said, like Rico said, yes, Ron Rivera felt him with his roster. He let Eric Flowers go. He didn't, you brought in Andrew Norwell, the Commanders. Trey Turner can barely move. He didn't set him up for success, and we didn't commit to the running of football. Now we're playing like we did last year with that 4-game winning streak. We're running the football. Brian Robinson is back. He looks healthy. Gibson is healthy. We might get McKissick back, but regardless, I think Scott Turner, he's calling a better game, and Taylor knows the playbook better. So I think he's just the guy for the moment. Is he the guy for the long term or our franchise quarterback? No, he's not. But I think he's the guy that gets the troops ready, gets guys settled down, calm down. And he did a great job last night. He made some big third down throws. Yeah, throw to Terry where we talked trash to the safety, the 41-yard pass to Terry. That was a big pass. He had a good pass to Jahan to get us in the red zone as well. So Taylor, he makes some good plays. He just has to settle down in the fourth quarter. But right now, and like Rico said too, we don't want to give up a 2nd-round pick for Carson Wentz. But man, he's not that same guy, man. He can't move. And Scott tried to run a read option with Carson Wentz in the Bears game. It looked like Carson was about to turn his ankle. That's how slow he was. Now I will give Carson credit for blocking Roquan Smith. Carson Wentz is a hell of a blocker. Yeah. I'll give him that. But no, the only way I could see Carson getting back in there is if Taylor was to bet against the Texans and knock on wood, it has a bad game in terms of football. That's the only way I could see it. But you got to go with the hot hand. You can't take the guy who's hot right now out the game because they're just playing better football with him. They're playing better football with Taylor. So you got to keep going with Taylor.
Hell yeah. And that man looks like a fucking sloth, man. I don't know what happened. I'm thinking his mobility is going to come in better. Like, I'm like, oh, he's leaner this year than he was in Indy. He's going to be moving fine. Bro, I don't know if it's that he's traumatized behind the O-line. He's shell shot, but man's moves in slow motion. Like, even the big first down runs we seen him make this year versus the Lions, versus the Bears, versus the Titans, it looked so slow, bro. Right. It looked like, absolutely. I was like, damn, Wentz came in the league athletic. I know that ACL tear took some mobility away from him, but like Lou said, last year in Indy, we saw him escape. Right. There was that escapability has left the building, and he walked into a lot of the sacks that he took this year. Like his sacks started to remind me of 2013 Robert Griffin. Yeah. I was getting flashbacks and I was starting to feel triggered because when we started making Robert a drop back passer after he said, let's not run the zone read anymore, It was disgusting. Y'all remember the Tampa game at home in 2014?
Yeah, that was the one Chris Cooley said he was so bad he couldn't evaluate the other players.
Oh yeah, he did.
He said, I can't even grade the other players because Robert was so bad. So yeah,
that's what it was starting to like Chicago game, Carson. It was starting to feel that way. Like it started to get really ugly. And I mean, I had hopes for Wentz coming into the season, knowing Ron and company. He will find a way to get him back into the fucking lineup at some point this season, but it shouldn't be this week. But we're about to move on to the next topic after I read this. Super appreciate you, Red Wings, for the $9.99. He said, got to stay focused. If we have any hope of making the offs, we got to win the next 4 straight. That's very ambitious, bro.
Yeah,
like that's a very ambitious win streak. But we should be on a 5-game winning streak right now because, like, what makes my biggest takeaway, other than what we already talked about, is we played the best 2 teams in our conference the last 2 weeks, and we had both of their ass. We had the Vikings strap. They had 7 points on the board, 10 points on the board with 10 minutes left in the game. Like that's the best that's in the NFC this year is the team we beat last night and the team we should have beat last week, which tells me the NFC is food this year. The NFC is food this year, and whoever gets hot the latest is going to win that shit. Like, you look at a team like the Bucks who've struggled all the time, and you can literally see Brady walk down the NFC if he gets in the playoffs this year. Like, that's how close this conference is. Our whole fucking division may make the playoffs this year. When's the last time that happened? Which one of you history buffs got that information? When's the last time that happened?
That's never happened because
that's never happened.
It's never been 7 teams getting in. It was always 6. So you had 4 division winners and then only 2 wild cards. So now that it's 7, you can get 3 wild cards from a division. So it's never happened before. I'm thinking this could be the first time, but we'll see how the rest of the season plays out.
Yes,
but even if it was 6, I mean the Giants are 7-2 or 7-3. Mm-hmm. So let's say if we did beat the Vikings and took care of business there, I mean you could have had 4 if it was 6 because of how good the NFC East is. I mean it's crazy how good the NFC East is because obviously we're usually the NFC least. So, but it's just crazy how good the division is. This is definitely a new. This is different for the NFC East.
Oh yeah,
it's historical.
It's crazy. This is historical what's happening. This feels like the weirdest season in NFL history. And like Stringer Bell said, NFC East back up, baby. Yeah. We are back up, and we still have 3 divisional games left on the year. We end the season with Dallas coming to Washington in the whiteout game. And you know how we act in the all-white uniforms, bro. Yeah. I thought it was weird we came out with the red socks with the white last night, but we might have to keep that going now after what we did in Philly last night. Yeah. And we got to play the Giants twice. Those 2 games are going to decide what we do with the season.
Yeah.
With the bye week in between, too, which is a little weird.
Yeah. Yep, we play them back-to-back. We play them, go to bye, we play them again. So
the beauty of our schedule is everybody that is in front of us or around us, we play them. Like we've already played Philadelphia twice. We played Minnesota. We beat Green Bay already. We play Atlanta. We play San Francisco. We play the Giants twice. We play Dallas. All of those teams are right around us. If we want to make the playoffs, we just got to win the games that, we need to win. That's what it all boils down to. Yeah.
Yep. Absolutely. Take care of business. That's why you look back at a game like week 2, like that fucking Lions loss hurts. It's an NFC game. Like the Titans one hurt in the fashion that we lost in, but the Lions turned out to still be the Lions, and we lost.
Right. That's the part that, when you initially lost to them, you were like, damn, they scoring points. They look a little bit different. Then you look up and they like 1-5, and you like, lost to the Lions, man. The damn Lions, they stinking ass. They got 1 win, and that shit is against us. That's when you start getting upset. Like, damn.
It's that Washington shit. It's that Washington shit, man. It's typical Washington shit, which we're about to segue to. Shout out to my guy, Hog Farmer Chris Bryant, by the way. NFL Washington Fan of the Year this year, my boy. Appreciate everything he does for the Hog Farmers Foundation, everything that they do for pediatric cancer. I could not think of a better person representing us. If you haven't voted for him in the league-wide Fan of the Year competition, go ahead and vote for our guy. My guy is great. He's there every week, home and away, supporting it, and he does a lot for the community. But, man, we're talking about typical Washington shit. We managed to we managed to bypass the all shit we're done moment a few times last night. Because you know what happens here. Once one bad thing happens, it puts the nail in us, it puts the nail in our coffin, and it puts us away for the rest of the game. Tell me that motherfucking interception did not have you deflated. And then as soon as the interception happened, Hurts throws this goddamn deep ball, and it's like deja vu. Here the fuck we go again. And then Benjamin St. Juste forced the fumble, and it was like, the football gods actually have their hands on us tonight. They actually care about us. We got away with the Jamin face mask, the fumble on the Quez Watkins play, and the Taylor Heinicke flop of the year, which deserves a Golden Globe, an Oscar, an Emmy, anything from the Screen Actors Guild. Like, give it to Taylor Heinicke because it was soccer-like. He sold the shit out of that. Like, it feels good that we're finally able to get past those moments, but we have to avoid doing typical Washington shit. Like, a perfect example would be, we beat an undefeated team last night. A past Washington team loses this game to the Texans on Sunday, right, or they barely get out. I mean, I don't care how we win it as long as they get the 6th win of the season and we go back over 500 for the first time since week 1. But tell me the team would not lose this game this weekend. Like, like Rico, like, tell me this doesn't feel like the perfect Washington trap.
It literally feels like that. We do have a tendency for a long time. I mean, the majority of the time that I've been alive, we play to the level of our competition. I mean, we play well against good teams at times. Sometimes we get blown out, but a lot of times we do surprise people for how close the games are. And then we go against the sorry team or the team around us, and then we play down to their level. We don't play with the same level of passion. We're not playing with the same level of aggression. It's just like we take things for granted to an extent. Now, that's one thing that under Ron Rivera, we've gone on some win streaks, and we didn't necessarily do that with him. So I'm hoping he's one of the keys as to why we're not doing that. But I mean, this time management thing he got going on, we're gonna have to fix that.
I don't think we are.
Oh my! I'm not, like, I'm telling you, man. I'm making it a point every week. Like, shit, at this point, I'm sending submissions in. Like, please hire a time management coach. Hire someone to take the challenge flag from this man and take the timeouts. Put him physically. Like, maybe Ron needs to see him. Like, we need to have timeout flags, because Ron either tries to take the timeouts home with us, or he calls them too fast. Like, we're in year 3. Ron's in his 12th year as a head coach. We should not be getting a fucking delay of game on 4th and 1 that we're going for it. Right. We're going for it on 4th and 1. And it looks like Curtis Samuel would have house called that shit. And we get a delay of game.
And that wasn't, and it's funny because people think that was the actual play. It wasn't the play. They snapped the ball because Heinicke was calling for the damn ball, and he's running like, if you watch the game throughout the game, there was like 3 or 4 times where the ball was snapped and the guy's coming in motion and he's got to jump out of the way, or he barely misses the ball. Like, Curtis just instinctively caught that ball because it came out and he's like, what the hell is going on? Like, that was not a direct snap to Curtis.
Most accidental jet sweep we've ever seen go for a touchdown.
And it was literally going to work, you know, but it was the crazy part about that whole delay of game sequence is I saw the shit coming with 15 seconds left. They got the pan shot on the huddle, and Heinicke backs out of the huddle because he doesn't want 12 men in the huddle. And so somebody leaves the huddle. He goes back in with 12 seconds to call the damn play. I'm like, okay, Ryan, you should be going towards the official. Ron's still in his goddamn statue pose, arms folded, chilling. I'm like, bro, you know, if it's Sean McVay or it's Matt LaFleur, they hauling ass sprinting. Hell, even Belichick be hauling ass down to the official. If Pete Carroll's 70 goddamn years old running down there calling the damn timeout, Ron still got his arms folded, and we getting a damn delay of game. I'm like, are you kidding me? Actually, I'm glad it happened because we weren't gonna get that shit.
We wasn't gonna get that shit. We was definitely gonna find a way to not get that shit.
We gonna run a damn a gun run right up the middle,
or play action boot,
and like, we're gonna stuff that shit, and we were gonna goddamn turn it over on downs any damn way. So I was like, you know what? Football guys, like, we blessing you right here. You don't even know it, but we blessing you with 3 points right now. So I wasn't even mad about that.
Oh yeah, appreciate you for the 199. Super. Ed, you wanna touch on it?
Oh yeah, the Texans. I'm not gonna sleep on them at all. But Lou, I think you're right about the wild card with the 4 NFC East teams. I don't think. Yeah, you're right. I don't think 4 can make it because it would be 4 division winners and then 2
Right.
other
No,
teams.
it's 7 now.
When it was
Because it's 7 now.
Yeah,
when it was 6.
it was impossible because you had 4 division winners and then you only had 2
It can
wild
happen,
cards.
bro.
Now
Because
you can do it with 7.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
it's never happened in the 2 years where we've had 7 teams making it from each conference. This will be the first time if it does happen.
Hell yeah, and that would be freaking amazing, man. Go ahead.
Yeah, but the Texans, no, I'm not gonna sleep on. They set the blueprint. We all watched them run on the Eagles, and we were like, we saw what Damian Pierce was doing. Why can't we do it? We got the horses, we got the dogs to do it. We got B-Raw, we got Gibson. They set the tone. The Texans were in that game in the fourth quarter. They were in the game the whole way. They weren't out of it until Davis Mills threw an interception. The only way that the Eagles really thrive, they really thrive off interceptions because they lead the league in turnover differential. CJ Gardner Johnson getting picks. He got a pick last night. But that's how they beat teams, and they give Justin Fields a short field, and he's already running the ball, doing his Tim Tebow fake pass, and then throw it into the end zone for a touchdown. You can't give the Eagles short fields, and we did a great job of that, playing keep away. But to be the Texans, we got to contain Damian Pierce. I'm not going to call it a trap game. We're not good enough to have a trap game yet, but we are favored in this game. I don't think we've been favored in a game in a long time, but we're favored by 3 points. But this is a game we got to take care of. We can't lay an egg, but we can't sleep on these guys. Davis Mills, he's not terrible. Like, he's cut teams up. He was cutting the Eagles up last week. But yeah, no, we do have big letdown games. We have teams like last year. We beat Tampa Bay. A lot of people had us losing that game, and then we lay eggs against the Lions. We got our butts kicked. We were down 24-0 against the Lions. Like, we were getting spanked. Aiden Hutchinson had 3. If Aiden Hutchinson didn't get hurt, he might have had 5 sacks in that game.
Yeah, he might have broke a fucking record on us that day because that man was unblockable. He was just tossing around our tackles left and right. Yeah,
but no, we got to get up in this game. We need to take advantage of this game. We need to put our foot on their necks from the jump. We need to start out like 14-0. That's the way I'm feeling against the Texans.
Oh yeah, appreciate you, Jamal, for the $10 super. He said, just wanted to say it's always good to see the Fantastic Four link up. I have a feeling the rest of the NFC will taper off for a while. That's going to be our chance. Man, the conference it's definitely shaping up. This is the year if you want to go on a run and get in the playoffs and actually make some noise. This is the year you want to get in the playoffs because there really doesn't feel like there's a prohibitive fit. It feels like the best teams in the league are in the AFC, and the NFC, whoever gets hot at the right time is going to win that shit. We just saw what the best 2 teams in the conference look like. And if that's what the best in the conference looks like right now, and neither has experience pushing through a playoff race and getting to a Super Bowl, all cards like a team like the Bucks are going to be the favorite when we get to playoff time, or if the fucking Packers somehow sneak in the playoffs or something because of Rodgers, because Jalen Hurts and Kirk have never went on a long playoff run before, bro. These are inexperienced teams. They have a second-year coach in Philly. They got a first-year coach in Minnesota. These are coaches still learning on the fly, still wet behind the ears. So I don't know. I like the way the conference is shaping up for sure. Jay said, is Wentz gone now? Oh, Wentz is definitely not coming back. I don't think Wentz is coming back next year. Do y'all think Wentz is back next year?
No.
I see no reason why. Like, we consumed the $28 million of his contract so we can have an out after this season, and he did not do much for his case. And he did not do much for his case of being here past this year. I imagine there will be another quarterback added next year, but I don't think it will be Carson Wentz. I don't think he'll be back. I don't see no reason for it. And best of luck on his endeavors after he's no longer a Commander. But he won't be our problem anymore after this season. Big Money Sonny, appreciate you for the $9.99. He said, did y'all see Mike Florio narking on Taylor for drinking a beer on the plane? Louis' stream last night was lit. Yeah, Louis was going. He felt like he did overnight. He did a sleepover stream. Yo, man, appreciate you. Yeah, man. Now, I did not see Mike Florio do that, but Mike Florio has a problem with everything that comes out of Washington. He hates Dan and he hates the organization. Why can't a quarterback have a beer on the plane? What are we talking about?
Right. And I think Heinicke's still trying to get that endorsement. So he's always drinking Bush because he's trying to get an endorsement. So, I mean, I don't know what the issue is, but
so
we all know that
football players can't drink beer on the plane with their team.
Like you said, Mike Florio has an axe to grind with Washington. Always has, probably always will, till Dan sells.
Yeah, he has a hard on for anything negative coming out of Washington, man. But any of y'all want to touch on that before we move on to the next subject?
No, I'm happy that Taylor turned up. I'm happy that he had the chains on. I know Kirk did it last week, but I'm happy Taylor turned up.
I didn't like that we did that because the Vikings have been doing that since they got on this win streak every week with Kirk on the plane,
every week.
putting the chains on. And I thought we were jocking them. It felt like some turnover chain shit where everybody now all of a sudden Georgia's got the spike pads and the teams got championship belts and all kinds of bullshit. You're like, hey, everybody jockeying the turnover.
And Vikings fans was coming for us last night because
they should have been because they started that. I felt like we were overstepping our boundaries there, but everything else, from F that to walk your trap, take your trap, all
dreams and nightmares.
Everything that we was doing last night.
I loved it.
From Tez going live to Chase going live.
Cam Curl and them.
London Fletcher was in there.
Yeah.
London Fletcher was in that jerk, walking the trap and take over your trap. He ain't know the words, but he was rocking them.
Hell yeah. I loved all of that.
That shit was a good scene, bro. Just seeing us act the fool. We were celebrating like we clinched the division last night.
Ron said he gonna get on them tomorrow though, because he said them young boys was in there turning up a little bit too much. He was like, hey,
they was out here going live. You see naked dudes in the background and shit.
Hey, look, he's like, y'all gotta act like y'all been here before. But he said, look, they ain't never been here before. So I gotta talk to them. So,
Ron gotta draw him.
Ron said that today. Oh,
we should have seen this coming too, because remember after we beat the Packers and Percy Butler was able to get that one cheese head out the crowd and everybody was passing it around and taking videos with it. It was only a matter of time before they went to another level with it.
And he got that from Sauce Gardner the week before. You know what I mean? Sauce Gardner got
we've jocked twice this year.
I forgot.
Twice. We got to come up with our own. It makes me think if we punch our ticket to the playoffs, them boys going to go crazy.
It's going to be crazy in there.
And they should, because when they say act like you've been there, we haven't been there, bro. We ain't been to the playoffs in 7 years, bro. We ain't been in the playoffs in 7 years. Meaning everybody.
We went in 2020.
We went in 2020.
Oh yeah,
we went 2020.
My bad. Y'all right. I forgot about that.
It just feels bad,
that team was 7-9.
We tripped and fell in the playoffs. We kind of collapsed into the playoffs.
And we ain't won a playoff game since 05. Bro.
05, bro.
17 years ago. 17 years ago, y'all. And that's why when people tell us shit like we shouldn't be hype about last night, I'm like, bro, I've seen 31 Monday Night Football games in my life that my team has played in. We've won now 8 of them. 8 out of 31 games. We're 8-23 on Monday Night Football since Snyder bought the team. So you gonna let me have my day, goddammit.
But
y'all celebrate your wins.
Anybody should be hyped. When you beat an undefeated team in their house in Philly, anybody should be hyped about that. So nobody should be downplaying that. You should definitely celebrate that. Because Philly, he was talking trash. And if Philly would have won, they would have been talking trash. We was 11-point dogs and we beat them by 11 points. So they would have been talking trash.
In a crib. And they've been giving me work all year long.
Oh, yeah, they've been talking crazy on your name.
Oh, man.
They've been talking crazy on you. They be in my stream like, yo, tell your boy Luce, shut up. I'm like, yo.
They be dogpiling on me. Like, when we was 1-4, they was giving me work. Every time I open up my Twitter, my shit is just littered with Eagles fans at me. I'm like, okay. I had told them, don't let us sweep you. We didn't sweep them. But I said, if we beat y'all, and I told Lord Brunson the last time we did the Super Friends stream, I said, bro, I want y'all to be. We were 2-4 when I told him this, right? Mm-hmm. I want y'all to be undefeated when we see y'all next time, because I could see us playing better. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And I watched the Eagles, and I wasn't impressed. And to your point, Rio, shit's wide open. It's the most wide open I've ever seen. But we knew the NFC was going to be this way because all of the talented quarterbacks and all of the big names went to the AFC. So we knew the NFC was going to be wide open, and it is. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, why not us? Why not us?
Exactly. Why not us? Metaphor, appreciate you for the 199. Said we jock the chains like we did the heated benches with Dallas. Yo, we got to come up with our own shit, man.
That's our move.
We got left hand up. That's all we got right now.
Yeah, we do. Hey, we do got left hand.
We got left hand up.
Hey, how y'all feel about that?
I've embraced it, and I met dude, and it definitely changed my thing. This is how I'm approaching it now. when I first heard it, I was like, yo, this sounds like some cool Mo D type shit. Like it sounded a little like the beat knocked, but it was like the flow kind of slow. I don't know. But the more I listen to it, the hook is so catchy, bro. Like the hook is catchy and it's one of our fans. It's one of our fans. It's not like something team forced on us, bro. So I'm like, fuck it. Let's embrace it. We can flip this into being like our anthem and we can annoy the shit out of fans. And the team is using it now on the social media posts. This man
Pay that man. Pay him. Somebody need to pay him.
CBA, he was on WUSA 9 with Darren Haynes spreading the song. I've embraced it as the anthem. I'm telling you, on a game day, put it in the whip. Turn that shit all the way up. Put it on after a win. It hits different, bro. Like, I like it now, bro. I know all the words to that shit. I know both verses and the hooks and the bridge.
They can't stand us.
Who are we? Look, I can't stand that shit. But I'm not going to hate on it. You know what I'm saying? Because it's organic. You know what I mean?
It is.
And people are embracing it, and it's corny, right? But you know, these types of things usually are corny, and I think it's that kind of corniness that has attracted people. I can tell you this: the hook is catchy, and that's all you really need for a song. And I'm like, that's cool. It's not my thing, but to each his own. I won't shit on it, but I definitely was like, yo, this is whack. But
I gotta see how the stadium knocked the first time they play it. And like if they play, like, set the tone. We're playing, it's a play in your end game, week 18 versus Dallas. And they got that joint playing during a commercial break, and the whole stadium got their left hand up. You know, the stadium that's wearing burgundy, not the 60% that's wearing Dallas uniforms.
Yeah.
Like, it might be a fun scene, bro. We all singing that shit, like the whole crowd saying left hand up. Who are we? The command. And it's funny too, because I like the way that he said that, like he accidentally put that left hand up shit. That wasn't even organic. Like it happened on accident. The whole left hand.
Do you see his left hand though? That shit looks like it's on steroids. Like literally, like seriously, I'm not bullshitting. Like
Black Power.
Did you see his hand? Like that shit looked like Odell Beckham. Like you ever seen DeAndre Hopkins' hands? He wear like 3X gloves.
Oh, yeah, his hands are
like
crazy.
His shit. That dude's left hand is like
that
this
whole
goddamn
glove,
big.
The whole glove for the kids.
I'm like, what? Yeah, exactly. That's what that shit looked like. I'm like,
that's why he said left hand. That's why he said left hand.
We going in. Y'all be letting it crank. Y'all be letting it crank.
No, I don't play it in the whip. But you know, I mean, it's corny, but I fool with it. I feel like they need to pay him or something, because even the team has used it on Instagram on
get
Twitter.
Your money. Nah, he need to run him that check. They need to run him that check.
Yeah,
get your
I think he need to be paid for that.
Get all your publishing right.
Yeah, he need to be paid for that, man. I mean, it was creative. He put himself out there because, again, like I said, it's corny, but he put himself out there and it caught on. And people are really gravitating towards it. And now, like you said, the team social media accounts are using it. And Jason Wright just said, you know, it's catchy. He finds himself singing it now. Like, look, y'all need to pay these dudes for what they did, man.
Tighten that man up. Hold him down. Shout out to DJ Woody O'Goody, Mr. Woodrow Sellers, and his nephew Big 57. Shout out to them boys for coming up with some organic. And I mean, we not giving dudes much to work with being named the Commanders. You know what I'm saying? That's not really the easiest material to come up with a track for. I'll take it. And shit, I mean, it sounds cooler than fight songs. Fight songs sound very dated and unseasoned to me.
Fly Eagles Fly is terrible, because the thing is, when we start winning, the song is going to be cool, because people was making fun of us when we were losing. We were like 1-4, everybody's going, but now we're starting to win. Right. It's getting a little more catchy. You know, when you start winning, you know, you start drinking some Bush like Heinicke, and it sounds a little better. You start turning up. So I mean, hey, I give the guys props for making the song, and the other guy who's the young guy too. I give them their props.
Yep, that's him and his nephew. Door Gunner with the $2 super said, "Cash in those receipts, Lou. Petty Lou is the best Lou." But
I was killing them all day. I got more in the chamber too, boy. I told them, I said, y'all better be lucky we ain't sweep y'all, because I had so much shit planned. But I'm gonna keep it in. I'm gonna keep that one to myself. Maybe I get to use it one day. But I was going in on them today.
Hell yeah, man. Hell yeah, he did. Yeah, McAfee had it on his show. I've seen it on I saw it on Barstool. It's been on every news platform. They out here making waves with that joint. But yeah, let the Eagles fans have it today. If you see an Eagles fan, laugh at them, point at them, and tell them, hopefully we'll see y'all in the playoffs. Because this is a team I would like to play if we make the playoffs. I mean, let's go back up to the link in January and let's play them again.
I've already said the link is the most sterile environment in the division, of course, outside of our stadium, but we don't play road games at home, or maybe we do sometimes. But I don't. If you ask me, where would I rather go, New York, Dallas, or Philly? I'll go to Philly all day long. Go to the link. I got no problems going to the link. I can't stand going to Dallas or New York.
Hell yeah! But last night we ran the ball 49 times. 49 times. That shit sounds like a typo when you hear it, because in today's league, unless you got Derrick Henry on your roster, running the ball 49 times seems like some shit that's far dated, that does not exist anymore. It sounds like the days of guys wearing leather helmets and shit. Last night's game plan, we kept Hurts was on the field for 20 minutes out of a 60-minute game. We held the ball for 40 minutes. Is this sustainable? Is it as easy as fans think when they say, see, you got to just run the ball? Because it's crazy. We didn't break off any big runs. We were just effective, and we did what we had to do, and we just kept churning, and we converted on third downs. The third downs were as important as all the running that we were doing. We were picking the third downs up, and that's not something we were good at last year. Is this sustainable, or like does context and game situation dictate that? Because it's easy to run the ball 49 times when you dictate the entire pace of the game in your head. You can't necessarily do that shit if you're behind on the scoreboard like we always are, because we always start slow. Start with Lou. Is this a sustainable style of play?
Hell no. This shit is not sustainable.
Exactly.
And so the beauty of what we were able to do is because the Eagles are missing Jordan Davis, and that's their big run stuffer. And we've seen their defense without him in the middle. And look, even when he was healthy, I still felt like you could run a little bit on the Eagles, but it became a lot easier without him in the middle of that defense. The reason why it's not sustainable is you can't run like that on everyone. That's number one. Number two, it doesn't take much to destroy a drive, right? A batted ball on 2nd and 6, or, like you said, we converted on third downs. All it takes is a penalty. Like, we were really clean in the penalty department last night for the most part. You had a Cornelius Lucas false start, and I think you had a illegal man downfield on one of the late drives. But we really didn't have any penalties offensively, which kept us ahead of the sticks. So it was 3 on first down, it was 4 on second down, and now it's 3rd and 3, and we convert. And so, the week prior, how many balls did Heinicke have batted down, right? Like, one of those on third down and your drive's over, you got to punch, right? So any little thing, like, do you know how many drives we had that were 6+ minutes of the clock, 16 plays, 86 yards, 6 minutes and 46? Like, that shit is not sustainable. Like, that's what you want a team to have to do. Because any little thing, we had a snap go over Taylor Heinicke's head 20 yards down the field. And if he doesn't, like, that's one of the biggest plays of the game, right? He didn't pick that thing up, get out of the pocket, and throw it back to the line of scrimmage. That drive's over. We score a touchdown and take the lead 17-14 on that drive. So any little thing happens wrong, and the drive could be over. And so you have to be damn near perfect, which we damn near were last night. And that's not sustainable. But
hell no.
I think what they need to be able to do is more of what they did last night, running the football, being consistent in that regard, but also being able to throw the football off of that a little bit more. I want to see more bootlegs with Taylor Heinicke, getting him out of the pocket. He had a nice little bootleg to Logan Thomas for a 9-yard gain. I want to see them move the pocket with him a little bit more and take advantage of them running the football the way that they did. But you can't run the football 49 times, especially in today's NFL, and especially with your biggest gain being 11 yards. Like, it's one thing if you Nick Chubb and you ripping off 17 and 13 and 6 and 9. Yeah, you can gash them, right? We ran it 49 times and we didn't run for, I don't think we ran for 180 yards in the game. I think it was like 170 something. Like, that is definitely not sustainable.
Hell no, I don't think so either. Ed?
It's not sustainable, but it's what we need to do. We got to go out there with that game plan, especially with Heinicke, a quarterback. You got to run the ball. I think the Texans is an opponent where you definitely have advantages running the football. And last night, that was a game where you had to run the football. Like you said, Lou, they struggle to stop the run. That's their weakness. You don't want to throw the ball against them. I mean, even though we were successful throwing the ball against them. But yeah, there's going to be some games where Heinicke's going to have to make some big plays where we're going to have to win games through the air. Little mistakes like somebody brought up the BS offensive pass interference that killed the drive. The bad at balls, we didn't have any of that. But I just think this formula, this is our identity. That's how we're going to win games. It has to be ugly. It's got to be 20 points, 20-14 with Heinicke. And it's got to be 17-14. Now, when you play better opponents, like say the Chiefs or somebody like that, then you're going to have to put up 25, 27 points to win the game. And I thought even last night you had to put up 25, 27 points. We got a turnover. But, yes, you're going to have to score points in this league to win games. Now, I think the next couple of games, you look at the next – I think the Giants are winning games like this right now, honestly, through Saquon Barkley.
Every week, bro.
They won 8 games just playing ugly. Sometimes this is just what you got to do. You just got to be ugly. When you don't have – you don't have a franchise guy. I don't think the Giants have a franchise guy either, but you have somebody like Saquon. You got to play your strengths. And the way the defense is playing right now is somewhat bend, don't break. But they are getting stops when they really need them, and now they're actually forcing turnovers now, which is something that we weren't doing at all. They're starting to force turnovers. I know, Lou, you've been begging for turnovers. They're starting to actually do that, and that helps. So, is it sustainable in today's NFL? No. But you look at what the Giants are doing. You look at what we're doing, winning ugly. San Fran, Jimmy G, they're winning ugly every week. So I'll say it's not sustainable, but it's doable. I'll say it's doable. We're capable of doing it right now. I think the only team really looking at the schedule where you're going to have to put up points in the next 4 weeks, I think you can do it against the Texans. I think you can do it against the Falcons. And the Giants were basically staring each other in the face, Spider-Man meme, those 2 games back-to-back, where it's going to be an ugly bloodbath type of game. We're going to be running the football. We're both going to be running the football at each other. So it's going to be ugly. These next 4 – and it's starting to get cold outside too. This is why they fold too, because they're soft stopping a run. And they rely on their quarterback too much at times. So I think I think it's doable. It's not sustainable, but what I will say, I think it's doable to make the playoffs. That's what I will say.
Lou, what were you about to say about the turnovers?
That I hate, because one of their mantras is, sacks and turnovers, they come in bunches. I hate that shit. That's a cop-out, right?
It is a cop-out.
It's the worst thing ever. Like, we're not worried about it. They come in bunches, and these shits actually coming in bunches, so now they're going to believe that.
Hell yeah.
That's the thing that's pissing me off. Like, y'all ain't actually trying to get turnovers, and you think they just going to magically appear, and these shits are magically appearing
These
now.
shits
Like,
are falling in our lap. They are falling.
Oh, and you know what? Remember the bold prediction I made? I still sound crazy. There's only, 7 games left? I said Chase Young 8.5 sacks. That's not going to happen. But can Chase live up to the hype? Can he force some turnovers? His rookie year, he did force turnovers.
I'm glad you brought him up.
Can we see that? I know the chats. I know everybody's down on. Every time I make a video about Chase Young, everybody's so negative. It's crazy how the fan base is on Chase Young. Like, our own fan base is calling him the B, not the other BI word, but the other B word.
The BU word. Yep.
Right. This, like, I swear to goodness, like 60% of the fan base is calling him the BU word.
I'm not
right now. They really are.
Yet. But I definitely have opinions on that, and I'm glad you said the name, because we're going to transition to the defense after Rico finishes the topic. Hold on, let me get my super real quick. My boy Black Dog Serenado. Serenade. I didn't miss you, my guy. I came back to it. He said, to quote John Allen, they ain't gonna give us nothing. They ain't gonna give us a chance. Strong word. Shout out from San Diego. He's over here behind enemy lines and shit. Love all you guys. Appreciate you. Keep repping in the West Coast for the gang. Rico, go ahead, man.
Hold us down.
Yes, sir. First of all, I love all of the Georgia references in the stream with the shoulder pass, Jordan Davis, Nick Chubb. I believe there was another one earlier. Had to point that out. But also, I mean, there's nothing more that can really be said than what y'all say. Y'all are all completely true. The only thing I can really add is that I am worried about the wall. Like Ed emphasized, maybe getting to the playoffs, you can do it. But the Tennessee Titans play this brand of football, number 1 seed, and didn't make it far last year. You do kind of worry about how far this can take us. Is this sustainable? Back to Lou's point, I mean, you just don't expect no offensive coordinator, even the genius of Andy Reid is not putting together 5, 16, 15, 12 play drives that take up 6 to 8 minutes and ending with a touchdown a game. Teams are winning with explosive plays. Now, granted, you could start to incorporate like the play action and then the deep shot to Terry McLaurin off of the run game, but expecting Scott Turner to put together that game again over and over again, it's not going to happen, especially with as down as people are on Scott Turner. I don't even know why people think that could happen.
Right.
And then also the negative comment on what Ed said. I was going to comment on that. Forgot. What did you say, Ed? I'm sorry.
Chase Young or Chase Young?
Yeah, the Chase Young.
Yeah.
Chase Young. Just my point on it. I'm just surprised by how negative the fan base is with him being like the hometown guy. If Chase Young was from Atlanta, I would allow no negativity. I don't care how much of a bust he is. Y'all wouldn't be able to say, nobody would be able to say anything about him. So I'm just surprised that he's born and raised there, got the accent and all, and the fan base isn't like behind him through thick and thin. So that's kind of been breaking my heart with the Chase Young situation.
I mean, I can tell you what the crux of it is. It's two things. There's resentment because Justin Herbert was in that draft,
and now Tua.
I don't blame them for Tua, right? Because Tua was banged up, the hip surgery, all that shit coming out, couldn't stay healthy. Taking Tua was a crapshoot. He probably would have got killed if he came to Washington. Herbert, however, and look, he might not have worked out if he would have come here, but I think they resent Chase Young because we could have had Justin Herbert, and they see what this guy is, and they're like, he could have been our quarterback. And then also, you look across the field at Dallas and you see Michael Parsons, and you're like, he don't look like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
he ain't
generational word. It looks very apparent over there.
And that shit looks immediate. Like, okay, they were using crazy phrases like Lawrence Taylor with that dude, right? Like, you just don't see that with Chase, and so I think there's a growing resentment with. Okay, Michael Parsons, they got one, and then damn, we could have had Justin Herbert. So it's a little bit of both of those things that's starting to, come together, and it makes me sick to my stomach.
Oh, definitely. Great answer. Appreciate that.
Yeah, and what I will say about Justin Herbert, of course, hindsight is 2020. Everybody wants Justin, but if you remember, if you take receipts on the fan base, there was more people that wanted Isaiah Simmons than Justin Herbert.
Nobody wanted Justin Herbert back. I didn't.
Most of the league was down on him. They said he was an introvert.
Right.
Like, he didn't throw nothing but
played in the Pac-12.
Right.
Yeah.
I remember I was one of these people that compared him to Marcus Mariota. Really,
he's not a leader of men.
Not a leader of men. He's too quiet. Played in a wide, that spread offense in Oregon. You're throwing a wide open receivers. He was too inconsistent in college. Like, there was so many knocks on Justin Herbert coming out. He had all the tools. That's the one thing everybody would acknowledge. Like, dude is big. He's athletic. He's, rifle for an arm. He had everything you were looking for, but you're like, is this guy going to put it together? He's not the first quarterback to come in the league with all the tools. He was toolsy, but could he put it together? Clearly, he's put it together. And so now fans are resenting the fact that we passed over Justin Herbert for Chase Young.
Hell yeah, and that's exactly why the fans feel that way. And also, not to mention, whether we want to admit it or not, Chase had a down year his sophomore year.
Well, that's a big part of the reason why. Like, had he repeated what he did in his rookie season, nobody's complaining.
Like, my man through 10 games was on pace to get 4 sacks last year. He had a sack and a half through 10 weeks. And the pressure rate and the run stopping was good, but we definitely – when we drafted him second overall as a fan base, we expect to see a double-digit sack a season guy. It may not happen in year 1, but we definitely expected it to happen in year 2. We expect the Myles Garrett, who seems like he has a sack per game in his career so far, which is absurd. A Von Miller, who's in his 100th year in the league, and he's still going to get double-digit sacks. We didn't draft Chase Young to be Jadeveon Clowney. That's what.
Yeah.
That's where the resentment grows. Big Money Sonny, appreciate you for the $4.99 super. He said, I don't care how drunk I get, I can't rock with that corny Bama song. Damn, man. He said, I can't rock with that corny shit. We winning though, y'all. Thoughts on OBJ to Eagle speculation? That's a speculation? Why would they sign OBJ?
I didn't hear that one. I
didn't hear that either.
The Cowboys were the ones that, we've been hearing the most. Them and the Giants were the two teams in the division that we were hearing him potentially going back to New York or going to Dallas. I hadn't heard the Eagles.
Yeah, I can't really see that one either.
But the way the Quez Watkins was getting open, do they need him? Like they already got AJ Brown, Devonta Smith.
Yeah, I don't, and they still got Pascal too. I don't think now. I know Dallas Goedert got hurt, but he's not a tight end. You know what I mean? So.
Oh yeah, appreciate you for the $4.99. Will, he said we're 3-1 with Heinicke, 2-4 with Wentz. Howlett's not ready, and communicates to it would communicate to the players that we're giving up on the season. What do y'all think? Well, definitely after last night, the season is far from over, and with anybody like me who wanted to see Howell at some point this year, it's not looking like we're gonna see Howell at any point this year. It looks like Carson is probably going to get cleared to play again, and he's going to be holding that Surface Pro behind Taylor. But we're going to see this week because Ron has a decision to make. I think Carson needs to hold the Surface Pro, man. I don't know, man. It might take away some momentum, but you never know with Ron and company, bro. They're a very stubborn old group who do things, and they're loyal to a fault. Like, they're loyal to their guys to the point that it could be detrimental to the team. But, yeah, man. Will also said we were bullies last night. I love the way we leaned on them. I haven't seen us physically manhandle a team like that in a very long time. That shit felt so unreal to watch it. Like, it felt like I was dreaming for a second. Like, we bullied them and took their man cards from, like, off rip. Like, literally, if you take out the Heinicke fumble on the first drive of the game, like, we literally dominate that game.
We scored on 5 straight possessions. Tress Way did not punt for the first time until 7 minutes left in the fourth quarter.
It's insane.
Wow. I didn't know. I didn't even realize that. That's crazy.
Insane. When do we do that?
When do we do that?
When do we? I don't know, man.
When do we do that?
We do not do that shit, man.
And to add to the physicality of the game, that Jeremy Reeves hit on special teams, I think it was a kickoff return, was big. You can see the sideline hype, and then when the defense went onto the field, they continued that energy. I just like y'all was saying earlier, everybody's clicking special teams as well, man. They're providing a boost of energy to the team right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, yeah. Ed, you wanted to touch on the physicality before we move from it?
Oh, I loved it, man. Look at B-Rob on a 1-yard touchdown run. I mean, he carried a Fletcher Cox into the end zone. Somebody else was trying to hold him back too. I mean, this man got shot twice. That's just an example of bouncing back, calling 50 Cent. So, but yeah, they ran the ball on Philly. They couldn't stop the run. Like y'all said earlier, we didn't get any big run. I think our longest one was 11 yards, but we just kept going at it. So I love the physicality.
Yeah, I'm gonna need somebody to break one.
And to add to B-Rob, even though it doesn't necessarily matter, but I like how when he reached the ball out, he was still able to hold on. You know, people normally reach the ball out and
drop it.
Getting hit. Yeah, they drop it, it gets hit or something, and now we're wondering was it a touchdown or not. B-Rob put it out there and still brought it back with one arm, and there goes that. Never
like a loaf of bread.
Mm-hmm.
He was holding that like a loaf of bread, just holding it. He flashed it, put it away. Like, you know what I'm saying? The ball never touched the ground. That's a great point, man, because
that's coaching.
Like, when I first saw it, I was like, oh, please don't fumble, because you know that's the type of shit we do. That is the type of shit.
B-Rob don't fumble, though. B-Rob don't fumble.
Doesn't fumble.
And you know what? Knock on wood, Antonio Gibson hasn't fumbled all year. So
let me get a little piece of that.
Knock on wood. Gibby hasn't fumbled either. So this whole season.
Oh no, you can't say that shit, Ed.
Wait. We gotta
Ed, bro.
Ed, chill.
Don't give me. I know I jinxed Antonio Gandy Golden. I jinxed Antonio Gandy Golden. I made him retire. My fault. I don't want to do that.
Put some holy water on this man. He's wilding right now, bro.
I
cut that out when the live stream uploads. Cut that little 20 seconds out.
Oh, yeah, I'm about to sage the laptop after that shit.
To do to us, Ed?
Yeah, you gotta be like, I don't want to bring Kyrie into the conversation, but when you do the sage all over the court, I know it's a touchy subject, but that's what you gotta do.
Oh, definitely about to sage the laptop after this joint, man. We got 449 in the chat right now. Make sure y'all smash that like button. Y'all are already probably subbed to them, but if you're not subbed to the guys, but as Jamal said, I see certain things like the look on Cam Sims' face when Taylor threw to him. He has PTSD for all the suicide hospital balls. I hope Turner outs number 4. Damn. Oh, help out number 4. Okay, he helps out number 4. I read that wrong as shit. But yeah, Scott has to call plays. He has to call plays that are comfortable for Taylor. Taylor knows the whole offense. Stop treating him like a rookie. Take the training wheels off him. Y'all got to just embrace the ride at this point because they offer 2 different roller coasters, Carson Wentz and Taylor Heinicke. And this is the ride that we're on right now. And it has us smack dab in the middle of the NFC playoff picture. I know we don't want to. I know Herman Edwards meme here, like playoffs, but we're right in the middle of that shit. The 7th seed is the 5-4 San Francisco 49ers. We play them later this year. We've played one more game than them. We're 5-5. We're literally the 8th best team in the conference right now. With 3 divisional games coming up, and we play the 49ers at some point, like before the end of the season as well. There's a lot of winnable games. Our next 4 games, the Texans, the Falcons, and the Giants twice. There's no reason why we shouldn't expect playoffs, or like we should definitely expect it. It's year 3, and it looks like the team is like they just played their first like well-coached full game for the first time in a while since maybe the Tampa game last year. Like we haven't had a full game in over 365 days, bro. It felt really good to take that one in last night. Question for the panel from Kevin. If Taylor Heinicke gets the nod, how short is his leash? If he has one game like Minnesota, is Wentz right back in? That's a great question, and I think Ron is that would be what Ron would do. Ron would he's probably going to give us some shit about how Carson's finger isn't 100% ready, but he's good and he's healthy enough to take the backup role and play if it's an emergency situation. And if Taylor has one of those days where he shouldn't have had 100 yards, very reminiscent to Carson's game versus the Bears, Ron gonna pull that shit. Like I think Ron gonna pull that. His leash is not nearly as long as the starter that you're paying $28 million. That's my answer on it, Rico.
Yeah, I think sadly, I could see Taylor Heinicke having somewhat of a game like the Vikings. Or even like the Colts. I mean, outside of that game-winning last 5 minutes, if he does something like that, I could definitely see them throwing Carson Wentz out there. And I do feel like it would be a mistake to an extent. But yeah, I mean, just like you said, with the guy getting paid $28 million and all of that type of stuff, Ron Rivera is going to create some type of excuse, and he's going to make it sound like we made the decision as a team, even though I'm pretty sure the locker room prefers Heinicke. And I can see Carson Wentz going out there, especially with the next few games that we have. If Taylor Heinicke lays an egg in those games, I could see them finding a way to throw Wentz out there.
Hell yeah, Ed.
Looking at the schedule, Wentz could go out there and beat the Texans. He could. I do believe he could do that. Gus of us that day. I know y'all killing me right now. Look,
hey, they getting the
Ed. Killing me. Y'all
come
killing
to Ed
me.
Neck in the chat, bro. He wishing
I'm
he
not
on us, bro.
I know I jinx AGG, but I'm not gonna jinx AG. So say that. But look, I wouldn't start Wentz no matter if. See, the thing with Taylor, he's got to relax in the fourth quarter. I feel like it was deja vu almost again. We were up by 9. We were up by 10 against the Vikings. He throws the pick. We're up by 9, then he throws another pick. So it really felt like deja vu. He's got to relax in the fourth quarter. He just has to. Like, we're winning these games comfortably, and he's throwing the game away. Now, he did it against the Colts, too. He threw an interception, and he magically brought us back and threw a touchdown to Terry, or a big pass to Terry. But no, I wouldn't. I think, honestly, I've moved on from Carson. And there's nothing against him. We just need a guy who can move in the pocket. I think that's what's best for the team. And I think, like I said, I think Scott just coaches better with Taylor under center because he wants to run the ball more instead of trying to drop Carson back. So I think he's just what we need for this team. And getting the ball to Terry too. I think Terry and Taylor have better chemistry. We got to get the ball to our best guy. Our offense is better when we get the ball. When we get the football to Terry, that's when we're at our best, and I think Taylor does the better job of doing that. So unless I do remember that Sean D. Jeremy Sprinkle, oh my God, that's what happens not on the team anymore. But
what a time.
He was so bad. But yeah, no, I mean Taylor. I think he gives us the best opportunity to play the identity that we have is this ugly football, just run the football right now. So Unless he goes out there, and I'm not gonna actually, you know what, because I would have to say knock on wood. So I'm not gonna say the last point. But yeah, I would stay with Taylor for right now.
Yeah, we gonna now. You gotta chill out, bro. You gotta chill out.
Chill out, my boy.
I don't know if y'all heard Ron today, but
I did.
Ron contradicted himself, and I think he caught himself because Ron's a veteran, and I think he felt himself putting his foot in his mouth because initially he said, "I don't want whomever we put in at quarterback to be looking over their shoulder. That guy, once we put him in, he's our guy moving forward." So then, I think it was Nikki Javala was looking for a clarification, like trying to lock him in. That's what the media does. We're going to lock your ass in. So if you go back and change it later, we're going to throw that shit back in your face. Yep. So Ron, I think he kind of felt like, oh, hell, I just put myself in a box. And now they trying to lock me into that answer. And he was like, so she's like, so are you saying whoever starts is the starter for the remainder of the year? And he was like, nah, it's one game at a time, right? So he switched the shit up. He just said, I don't want the dude looking over his shoulder. Then he was like, it's just we taking it one game at a time.
Man gave you two narratives in one.
In one scenario, he's giving you two different situations, right? So I think that the leash is, I think, relatively short, but I think right now he's leaning towards Heinicke, as I mentioned, because to the point Rio made, and I think it's a great point, and Ron actually brought this up. He says, I have to do what's best for the team. And right now, the team is rallying around Taylor Heinicke. So I think he's leaning towards Heinicke, but you get one of those games where he's the cause of the loss, because I've already, in my mind, in every game, you're going to get every single version of Heinicke. You're going to get ultra, you're going to get light, and you're going to get non-alcoholic in every game. It's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. So he's throwing a pick in every game, right? Like, it's coming. It's just a matter of when.
And they've dropped a whole bunch of them, too, in those games.
Right. So it's, it's coming. It's a roller coaster ride. And you just like, can I get more ultra and light than I do non-alcoholic? Facts. And if we can just continue to get him, the more you run it, the more you scale him back, the less likely you are to get non-alcoholic. The more he throws it, the more chances you give him to throw out some non-alcoholic Heinicke. So I think they want to run the football and take some of that pressure off of him, but they also want to be able to push the ball down the field, get chunk plays. And that's what we were able to do last night. That was the thing that was so encouraging, was when we did decide to drop back after that fumble on the first possession, they started having the tight ends chip on the way out to help the tackles. And then you were able to get him in a pocket where he was clean. There was really no pressure. And he was able to stand tall and find guys. And we got some chunk plays. It was actually like refreshing. Like, oh, shit.
Hell yeah.
Like that's a 17-yard gain right there. You know what I mean? Like, because I call it the vortex. Our problem this season has been it's from the 40 to the 40 where our drives go to die. Like last year, the shit was terrible. We was 3 and out. Like,
every possession.
3 and out. Like, you wouldn't even get that one first down. This year, we'll get a first down or two, and then we'll be at the 42-yard line, and then our shit dies. Or we'll get to the 49, and then the shit dies. Or we'll get to the other side of the field. We'll be in plus territory at the other team's 43-yard line, and then the shit dies. Then we try that stupid fake screen one way, throw the bitch the other way, and then 5-yard loss. And now all of a sudden, you punting from the 48. You're like, God damn, we sending Tress out here for this shit. But I really feel like they've got a good handle on what they need to do with Taylor Heinicke. And as we get more of these weapons back, I think the confidence is growing that, hey, we can really get it done. Like, we scored 32 points. I know we scooped up a fumble at the end, but we scored 32.
It happened, though. It still happened.
Now, look, I'm not giving this shit back. We scored 32. We put a 30 burger on them boys, right?
Yeah, I'm going to talk like we put 32 up on it because it happened. We don't see 30-point games, bro.
Man, we had one all season. Like, I thought, come on, who didn't think after the first 2 weeks, we scoring 30 like 3-4 times this year? You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, after the Lions game, you're like, man, we ain't even scoring the first half. We put up 27 in the second half.
Offense
like,
litty.
Man, we about to be scoring points this year.
And then we couldn't even get
shit
past
just
17.
total no, like 17 has been capped, bro. That's it.
Yeah.
Like, you lucky if you make it to 20.
Yeah, we
had 20 in the first half.
Hell
Like,
yeah, bro.
I think they're starting to get into a rhythm with Heinicke. So I think he's gonna get the nod. But to Kevin's point, I think that leash is gonna be short. You know, if they lose a game they felt like they should win, and he's the root cause, I can see them going to Heinicke to Carson Wentz.
Like, don't lose to Houston on Sunday.
Well,
like,
it's over for him if he loses to Houston.
Houston has the worst record in the league right now, correct?
Yeah, correct. And just to piggyback off of what Ed said, that the way we played against Philadelphia is sustainable for another week because the Texans have one of the worst rush defenses in football.
Mm-hmm.
So I think and again, I don't trust Scott. I don't know if y'all been watching me, but I've said that Scott Turner is best when he has additional days to prepare for his opponent. All the best 3 offensive days that we've had this season have been when we've had additional days to prepare for the opponent. You know, Detroit was a disaster in the first half, right? It came out in the second half. It was better, but week 1 against Jacksonville, the Packers game, coming off of a Thursday night game, you had extra time to prepare for the Packers. That was one of our better offensive games. We scored 23 points. And in this game, you had an extra day because it's a Monday night game, and you saw the result. I'm scared. He's got less time this week.
I know. He got less.
I'm like, oh, my God, I don't know what to expect. So we'll see what happens this week. But running the ball is definitely within reason this week against Houston's defense.
Hell yeah, it's definitely on the menu. Bloodshot Sports, appreciate you. He said, B-Rob is a grown-ass man. Talk to us nice. He's going to get better. I was saying that, like, it looked like for the first time B-Rob has his full football legs under him because, you know, he missed some conditioning time after the robbery, but he looked like for the first time I saw some bursts. Like his bursts has lacked the first 9 or so weeks of the season, and I wasn't afraid to call that out. Last night he was looking shiftier than I've seen him in a minute. I think his football legs are finally under him. Will said, it's crazy how Terry was doubled almost the whole game and still went for 128. That boy dangerous. And he's tired of the disrespect. And that's why I love cocky Terry, bro. I love shit talking Terry, man. He's did it. Jair, Stephon Gilmore, and Slay. He's collecting number 1 corners like infinity stones on the gauntlet right now. Shit. He's worked his way up since Taylor got in to 7th in the league in receiving yard. We got to get him in the end zone more because 2 touchdowns sounds egregious for Terry McLaurin, but the dude is an absolute baller, and we've seen him show up twice now. And that best receiver in the division that Philly was telling us about, A.J. Brown, that boy was nowhere to be found, and Lewis still looking for him. I'm still looking for
Arthur Juan Brown Sr. Give me a call.
Yeah. And we're not getting appreciate you, Commando, but we're not getting ahead of ourselves, but we do kind of have to look ahead to what comes next. But to close out the offensive side of the ball and move on to Jack Del Rio and his improved defense, my closing statement on the offense is, 1, for the first time I can remember, I heard Troy Aikman last night say, Scott Turner and the Commanders offense is just 1 step ahead of the Philadelphia Eagles. Bro, we don't ever surprise folks. We don't hear stuff like that. We don't hear that their offense is clicking on all cylinders. Scott Turner, like the here we're
complimentary football.
Complimentary football, exactly, bro. I want all the cliches, all the Chris Collinsworth cliches. I want to hear that about my team sometime. To actually hear that be said, it made me happy. 2, I was just sitting back thinking, like, fam, our wide receiver crew, when it's healthy, it's dirty, bro. Like with Dotson, Samuel, and Terry. Like in 2020, bro, we was starting Dontrell Inman and Steven Sims Jr., bro. Right. It was poverty in this
Don't forget Isaiah Wright.
Isaiah Wright, bro.
Isaiah Wright, bro.
Yeah. I mean, hell, even Diami had a big catch right before halftime to set up the field goal. Like, even when Diami's healthy, I mean, we saw what he did against the Titans. Like, we deep, man. I mean, and it's still Cam Sims too. Like, we deep at receiver, man.
And I've been saying that this skill position, I mean, if you include the running backs as well, if you want to include the tight ends when healthy, there are teams that have better records than us that are jealous of that skill position group. The offensive line, quarterback play calling, get more consistent. We could be deadly. I mean, if the Ravens had our skill positions, they're probably undefeated. Like, I mean, that's literally what they're lacking. That they would dream of having Jahan, Curtis, Terry, AG, and Brian Robinson right now.
A great quarterback would thrive with this skill position group. They would put up numbers.
Yeah, for sure. Yep.
Oh yeah, man. My boy said thoughts on the Heinicke chain. We talked about that. I appreciate you. We talked about that a little bit earlier. It was cool to see the players turn the hell up after the game last night because it's well deserved because that was like a real momentous victory. We just wish we could come up with our own shit because it looks just like what the benches did last year. Like someone mentioned in the chat, like we don't come up with our own shit, man.
Yeah.
Like we gotta come up with our own shit. My boy Merle.
One thing he's got is the shoes. That's one thing.
Oh yeah, that's the original.
We got the shoes.
Yep,
we got the shoes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he tweeted out the pair that he was getting this week.
Oh yeah, I think he got the white and green 4s, right?
4s, yep.
Yeah,
right,
he got the Jordan 4s. My man get to pull up with some. That's cool as shit, man. That is real cool and original. I like that he does that. Hey,
I was like, hey, don't spend all your money. You know, his bread ain't as long. I'm like, hey, be careful now.
Yeah. don't he get a bonus or something? It's like $125,000. So he keeps getting a bonus.
Yeah. He's maximizing his deal because it was only like 2 years, $7 million, but it was like it was incentives. Right?
Incentives.
Yeah.
It was like really like $4 million.
Yep.
But he might actually get to that 7 with the way he's playing.
He look. Yeah, I mean, if he keeps getting the nod, you know what I'm saying? Them incentives gonna stack up, and that Monopoly funny money the NFL be writing is gonna be real money. That ain't the Taysom Hill contract. You know, he's cashing checks because he's on the field for us on Sunday. My boy said last night was legal assault, 49 rushing attempts. I'm gonna keep it a bean. Like I loved that we ran it 49 times. I'm not sure I ever want to see us run for 49 times again. Like I like it worked last night, but bruh. I would love it, honestly. I would love it. Old, hey, Bill Callahan style, man. I would love it. I loved it. Naval Academy style.
I don't have a problem with them doing it. I just don't think it'll be effective again. Like, because something's going to go wrong. Like last night was the perfect storm. Nothing went wrong. Like we didn't. Like how many games this season have we had false start penalties, a holding penalty on a run, and now it's 2nd and 17. Like. That's all it takes to deflate. The drive's done. The drive is over. You get 3 on first down.
I found AJ Brown for you, man.
There he is.
He's on his burner.
There he is. What's going on, Arthur?
Shout out to that drop, man. Shout out to that drop. Derek Forrest took care of that for us.
Yeah. I still don't know how the hell he picked that off.
Derek Forrest. And now let's transition to the defense, bruh. Like the guy who said this, bite these, my man Jack Del Rio, Maga Jack, he got these boys playing ball, man. For the last month or so, this defense is finally starting to look like how it's advertised to be. Payne and Allen, probably the best D-line tandem, interior D-line tandem in the league right now. They're just making the lives of quarterbacks and running backs miserable right now. Jamin Davis is growing before our eyes each week. Our safety pair is ridiculous with Cam Curl and Derek Forrest. If only Bobby McCain mid-ass wasn't in that room, it would be like a perfect safety room.
Hey, easy on Bobby, man.
Hey, Bobby,
easy.
Bobby, I mean, Bobby cool, but like, yo, Forrest and Cam are just playmen. Like, they're all over the field. The cornerback room, Kendall Fuller, it takes him 8 weeks to get going the last couple years. You know, he doesn't come to play to November. It's November now, so he's back and he's balling and he's doing what he do now. What is the biggest reason for the defense's turnaround over these last 5 weeks? I'll start with Ed.
You can easily say the D line, John Allen, Deron Payne, and Montez Sweat. Man, he's not getting home, but he's playing disciplined football. Like that's what I want to see from Chase Young. Like it's not about sacks,
playing within the scheme,
right? Yep, and that's what I want to say. Warren Sapp came in there. He said bowling balls and butcher knives. They're playing like it right now. Zagonia, he's done a heck of a job with the D line. I guess a change really needed to be made because they're playing disciplined football. That's what I want Chase to go in there and do. Sure. But they even made it hard for Kirk. Like Kirk, they was lighting Kirk up, man. Like they was hitting Kirk. He was lighting up. He was out. Yeah, he missed a play where they had to bring in the backup. I think it was
Mullins
or something like that. Yeah,
I wanted that nigga to play the rest of the game so bad. I'm like, please don't put Kirk back in.
But you know what? I'm gonna say the D line is too easy to say, so I'm gonna give it up to Ben St. Juste. I'm gonna give it to the secondary, Kendall Fuller. Ever since William Jackson, the whole fiasco with that. Ever since they traded him. And if you guys didn't know, we're not getting the pick now because he didn't pass the I'm not gonna say he didn't pass the physical, but he didn't. He's on IR now, so we're not gonna get the conditional pick.
Right. The conditional pick is 2057.
Right, yeah. So we're not gonna get him if people didn't know. But yeah, the benching of William Jackson, the trading of him, Kendall Fuller has stepped up. Ben St. Juste has stepped up. Derek Forrest, Cam Curl. I got to give the secondary their credit because they were getting torched in the beginning of the season. Now they're playing together as a unit behind them. And I'm naming everybody, but Jamin Davis, man, like I got to give him his credit too, man. He's stepped up and he's played so much better than what he did last year. He's understanding the game of football. He's playing under control. He's reading deep. He's reading the offense better. But yeah, and we're forcing turnovers. I would say that too. We're starting to get some timely turnovers. Derek Forrest making plays. Ben St. Juste making plays. The secondary is making plays and they're forcing turnovers. We're starting to force turnovers. Ever since the Bears game, we made takeaways. Justin Fields, the batted ball in the air in the red zone, we got a pick there. Even some of the muff punts, special teams. So forcing turnovers, Derek Forrest punching the ball on Jonathan Taylor, that was huge. If we don't get that fumble, the Colts probably score on that drive. We probably don't win the game. So they're actually forcing turnovers when we really need them. And they're eating off the D line.
Absolutely, Lou.
Jeff Skanina is the biggest reason for this defense's turnaround. I was such a big detractor of Sam Mills III. Like, God, he was terrible. And
we all were.
And I was like, God, he is just sucking the life out of this defense. It was bad. Remember when he first got here, like Matt Ioannidis wanted to be traded. And I was like, damn it.
Hell yeah, he was like, I'm not playing this technique. This technique ain't shit.
Yeah, like I'm like, damn, is it that bad, Matt? And now I got it. You know what I mean? Like, oh shit, you were right. Like this dude is horrible. And Skanina has come in, they've bought in, and I thought a great example of what they've done collectively as a unit was that last third down with Jalen Hurts. You know, how many times have we seen our guys be undisciplined, rush up the field, a hole opens up, a guy like Hurts escapes, picks up 9 yards on that third down, and it extends the drive. They rushed this 4, and as he's tried to step up, Payne flushed him right to Sweat. Sweat grabs him and corrals him for the sack, and they got a punt. And this year, they've been rushing so effectively. A lot of these twists and stunts, I watched the 49ers with Bosa, and they do that shit to perfection.
Oh, my God. It's
beautiful. It's poetry in motion. You know what I mean? And Bosa comes screaming around untouched. And I'm seeing that shit with us now. Like, Sweat will come around. You know, unlike Bosa, who gets to the quarterback, he'll get there a step late, right? But it affects the play. Jonathan Allen, this is the best football he's played in his life.
Yes.
Like, this man is playing. Right now, he's an all-pro defensive tackle. There's only 3 dudes in the league better than him right now. And that we don't have players that come through Washington other than Trent Williams. We haven't had players that we can say, hey, he's top 5 at his position. In the league.
Yep.
Jonathan Allen is top 5 in his position in the league right now.
Certified.
And Daron Payne is playing for the bag. And he's clearly playing his best football. He's leading our team in sacks right now. It's crazy how well he's playing this season. And not to say that he hadn't been playing well in past years. My guy Derek B always would tell me that, you know, Daron Payne is playing his ass off, but he's actually playing like the guy that they drafted in the first round. And those two in the middle are the anchor. And I've been so pleasantly surprised by the trio of Casey Toohill, James Smith-Williams, and F.A. Obata. Like, I knew F.A. was going to come in here and give us
they get busy.
But I've been so impressed. And then you throw in, like, this is another draft pick. John Ridgeway is another draft pick.
Shout out to Dallas for letting us get John Ridgeway.
Hey, shout out to Dallas, right?
Oh, yeah.
For letting us get – he forced the fumble. He was the one that forced the fumble last night.
Big hand ass.
And so he's come in and given us what we thought we were going to get from Fedarian Mathis. So this D-line, man, has been exceptional. And they've been, to me, the catalyst that has driven everything that has happened. Obviously, the back end has gotten a lot better. It's the chicken or the egg, which is which. Is the secondary causing the defensive line to be better, or is the defensive line causing the secondary to be better? I think it's the front really pushing this defense to be better, and you're seeing everybody else raise their level of play. But I think it starts with Jeff Skanina and what he's getting these guys to do, buying in to the way that they're rushing the quarterback.
Well, yeah, man. Who else? I forgot who else went on this joint already. I didn't. Go ahead, knock this joint out. Biggest reason why the defense took off.
I mean, first of all, everybody is right. I mean, that defensive line. I don't know where we are now, but I remember a couple of weeks ago we were leading the league and getting to the quarterback, causing pressures without blitzing. Mm-hmm. And so that alone, I mean, that's just a trickle down effect for allowing us to, allocate more resources towards coverage, more linebackers and DBs on the field. But I want to point to Jack Del Rio a little bit more, just since everybody else didn't cover it. I probably would have said defensive line if I went first, but just to add to the Jack Del Rio situation, Derek Forrest and these young guys are playing very well. Derek Forrest, I think, played 20 snaps of free safety, 17 in the box, and 11 at nickel. Like, Jack Del Rio's getting really creative, and he's learning to trust his guys to, even if they make a mistake, keep them out there, let them learn from it, and make plays. I mean, we have Benjamin St-Juste, who, if we're talking about games started wise, he's still kind of in his rookie season. He barely played last year. You have Derek Forrest also barely played last year. It's a lot of young guys stepping up right now in the secondary. And even though you get less talented when you trade away William Jackson, but that doesn't necessarily mean you got worse. You technically got better. He wasn't versatile. He couldn't do zone coverage. He couldn't do the match coverage that the Bills secondary. That's what makes them so elite. They run match coverage. That's what Jack Del Rio has wanted to do. William Jackson was just pure press man, nothing else. And it was just ruining the communication from the team. You notice that we have less Bobby McCain mistakes because we don't have William Jackson.
That is true. Anymore. This is true.
It's just the overall better, more solidified, better communication type of secondary, more consistency. There's no holes. We may not be as fast. We may not be as quick. We may not be as athletic, but we're smarter and we're more unified in the secondary. I feel like that's one of the biggest reasons. And again, I like the fact that Jack Del Rio's getting more creative, even blitzing in Jamin Davis. Sometimes Jamin Davis in a blitz is amazing. I love even one time.
That's his niche.
Games ago, he batted the ball. Yeah. I mean, I feel like, at the very least, he could be Zach Brown as far as the blitz go. Do that. Also cover, handle the run game. Now, I do want to take one thing away from him. I feel like this game against the Eagles is pretty good, but I feel like he played better previous games. And I feel like Cole Holcomb not being there has affected him. It seemed like yesterday he was making more tackles 5 yards down the field rather than that, like the line of scrimmage like he's been doing. And I think Cole Holcomb not being there, our defense is playing spectacular, and we're technically without our Mike linebacker.
I was just about to say that when Cole was out there, and in most of the games this year, he was more part of the problem than he was part of the solution. I'm just saying.
Yeah, the first 4 games, first 4 or 5 games
of the season, Cole was wilding out there, bro. He was not playing good football. And Jamin has taken off with him being hurt, him and Mayo.
So I just want to give credit to Jack Del Rio because, coming into the season, I thought he would probably be our biggest problem. But right now, he's only our consistency. He's our only consistency. We finally got a great play calling game from Scott Turner, and Ron Rivera is still making the situational awareness and time management mistakes that we don't like. But that's not necessarily why we brought him here. We brought him here to be the leader, and he's doing that. The emotional speech after the game, that made me tear up, and I'm not even the type to tear up. That got me. I can admit that got me.
That's a sensitive topic, bro. I lost my mom at 15, bro. When Ron broke down and walked to that room, woo, the waterworks hit, bro. I was like, God damn it, someone brought some onions out, man.
I just want to give Jack Del Rio his credit because coming into the season, he was the one I was most worried about. Now he's easily by far the one I'm the least worried about out of the top 3.
Yeah. One thing I'll say last too is third downs. We're getting off the field on third downs. That was a huge problem last year. No dust ups on third down this year. We've been doing a good job.
Yeah, we're third in the
Shout out
league.
to Jack on that.
Yeah. I saw what you did there.
He trying to make up for wishing them fumbles on us.
Y'all not gonna let me off the hook, man. Hey,
Insert this Jack meme. I wasn't familiar with your game, man. Hell yeah. But man, the biggest thing on the defensive side of the ball, like y'all said, I'm not afraid to be on the field on 3rd and long anymore. Last year, it could be 3rd and 19.
I'm telling you.
I feared for my life that they were going to give that shit up. Yeah. I was almost ready to see a 3rd and 1 instead of a 3rd and 15, bro. Because last year, we couldn't do it. We couldn't stop it. And to go off of what y'all are saying about Zanina and with bringing Warren Sapp and the things he was saying about playing discipline and playing as a unit, we're actually getting things done schematically. We're not seeing guys freelance be freak athletes who go against the scheme. Every time they talk about immaturity and people going against the scheme, they're almost always talking about Montez Sweat. Montez Sweat is now playing team football. Somebody's got Montez Sweat to buy into it. This shit ain't about you trying to get sacks. Like, they're stunting right. Our depth in our edge room is playing ball. And our secondary, man, seeing Benjamin St. Juste and Derek Forrest draft picks actually produce for us, it feels good because we've seen so many misses here over the years. Right. Derek Forrest, this is beautiful to watch, bro. Like, he's one of the top ranked. I take PFF grades as a grain of salt, but every time we see Derek Forrest on the field, he's in the mix, making a play, close to making a play, and he finds the football. I thought he was. What were you gonna say?
Just the Pro Football Focus at Cameron Curl #1 and Derek Forrest #4, I believe, entering the week.
Ooh, and I think
they're 2 and 3 right now. Yeah,
they're 2 and 3 right now.
Okay.
Yeah. So according to Pro Football Focus, we have the two of the 3 best safeties in the NFL right now. But they're balling though, man. Cam's balling, but Forrest, I thought Forrest was gonna be Kirkland Brand, DeShazer Everett. I thought he was gonna be new special teams ace, emergency, like last choice safety. I thought he was going to be a step ahead of what Apke was to us, who always made the roster. That's what I thought he was going to be. I didn't know he was going to ever make an impact as a safety. Right. The man just came in and he's absolutely balled out and he's carved out a niche and a role on this defense. And you love to see that shit. It makes me happy to see draft picks actually hitting here because we've seen so many misses over the years, bro. You look back at some of those draft classes and you can almost throw away the entire class, bro. Like, it's crazy. Like, we're cutting dudes that we took on in round 3, the 2 years after they entered the league. Like, bro, you take it every time you see that we got a hit on this team. And the linebacker room, it don't got the bodies, it don't got the names, but we're finally seeing growth out of our 19th pick from last year's draft. Jack Del Rio, we're going to put some respect on your name right now. Jonathan Allen said keep that same energy. We're not going to keep it the same because y'all boys are playing. Y'all are playing worth it, and y'all look as advertised, and we look like we're finally getting into the rhythm. Like, we're getting closer to becoming the dominant defense that we once were projected to be, coming off the 2020 and 2021 draft, where we took all these. We went 4 players in the front line and a middle linebacker. So we got 5 first-round picks within the first 2 levels of the defense. Right. You need them to live up to that shit at some point. You need them to live up to it, and it looks like we're finally getting to that, and they're causing turnovers now. If that can continue, look out, NFL. The Commanders are coming. Let me get to a couple supers before I move on to like 1 of 2 more topics, and I'm going to get y'all out of here. We've been going for almost 2 hours. The plan was to go for 2. I appreciate y'all for coming over.
You good, bro.
Hell yeah, man. We having a good time. My man said, should we bring Cousins back? We won't have the chance, sir. What Takashi say? You won't have the chance. We won't. Kirk Cousins secures bags as well as anyone in NFL history.
And facts.
They're about to go like 13-4. So that
Sam Bradford and Kirk Cousins, boy.
Darrell Revis too. That man used to work his contracts out beautifully, bro.
Yeah. I'd never seen somebody come back to the table and get more, man. Like,
I know.
Like, bro, we just put food on your plate. He was like, nah, but I need more though.
Hell yeah. Mr. Ron, appreciate you, man. BSJ and Defoe have solidified the secondary. Good segue. The secondary. Talk to me about the secondary, Lou. We can go Lou, Ed, and Rico.
The secondary has been a pleasant surprise because remember when we came into the season, what was one of the positions that we thought was going to be a big question mark? Linebacker was first, and then the lack of depth at corner, right? And when we put in Rashad Wildgoose, hey man, I ain't gonna lie to you, I was like, oh shit, here we go, right? But to Rico's point, when we moved on from William Jackson III, it really helped this defense because I thought they were playing Juice out of position in the nickel. Like the big play he gave up against Justin Jefferson, where was he? Inside. Like he's a boundary corner. Right, slot fade. That's all it was. And he was tired too. I mean, I ain't gonna kill him because he ran a pick back for a touchdown. Then they used him on a cat blitz. He was tired, but still, slot. He's not a slot corner. He's not a nickel. He's a boundary corner. So him going back outside, I think, allowed him to play where he was naturally designed to be. And I'm a big Danny Johnson fan. I was so disappointed in his preseason because that's what got him cut. He was terrible in the preseason.
Ass.
So,
God.
But he came back and he played well against Minnesota. So I feel like Juice outside has really opened things up. As you mentioned with Kendall Fuller, I'm a big Kendall Fuller apologist because there's so many people. They call him Baked Ziti, right? That's what they call Kendall Fuller, and I'm like, hey, but he was ass at the beginning of the season. I can't even lie. Like, I was like, come on, Kendall, what the hell, man? I'm over here trying to protect you. They got pitchforks and torches. They're ready to come out there. I'm keeping them at bay, but bro, you got to help me out, right? Now he's starting to play ball, and the safety position has come alive. And that was the one position in the on the defense I wasn't worried about, along with the D line. Was I wasn't worried about safety. I love the depth at the safety position. We heard all offseason that Derek Forrest was the best player in training camp, in OTAs rather. And he was having a strong OTA and mini camp. And they said he was the guy making the biggest leap. And I was like, I believe it when I see it. Because I thought, just like you, Rio, we got a special teams ace, nothing more, nothing less. And to see what he's done, the jump that he's made, that's coaching. Like, there's so many people that give Chris Harris flack. Like, because every time somebody says, hey, give me a guy on the staff that could be a head coach, we always go to Chris Harris, or at least I do. I love Chris Harris. And they're like, yo, these dudes suck in the secondary. Chris Harris is just a hype man. And I'm like, well, look at Benjamin St. Juice. Look at Derek Forrest. Look at the growth of some of these young players. And tell me.
Not just young, but also late round picks, third.
Right, exactly.
Fifth, like
Cam Curl as well. Like, that's the 7th round pick. Now, again, depending on who you ask, if it wasn't COVID and he actually got to work out for teams, he probably would have gone sooner. But these guys have played extremely well, and got to give credit to the coaching staff. But I really feel like they're starting. And another thing that people overlook is just experience in the same system. When you keep taking these dudes and you yo-yoing them in and out of different schemes, it's tough. This is the 3rd year with Jack Del Rio for a lot of these dudes, 2nd for Derek Forrest. And, you're starting to see Juice, same thing, 2nd year guy. You're starting to see them really get comfortable and understand what they're being asked to do, and they're really performing at a high level.
Hell yeah, man. Ed?
Yeah, I mean, to piggyback off Chris Harris, they're starting to like nice things. They're starting to make turnovers.
Yeah, there you go.
Finally.
There you go.
Been turning them down for years.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, but the communication has been better. They're playing together as a unit. Ben St. Juice, he's growing up each week now. I think he has to work on some of the pass interference on him. I thought that was BS.
It was.
And I'm not even trying to be biased.
Yeah,
I thought it was a ridiculous call.
Did you hear him after the game?
No, what did he say?
Oh man, he said, because he forced a fumble. He said, they gonna stop calling pass interference on me when I don't do nothing. He said that fumble I forced. He said I had to get back because they jerked me pretty much. He was like, they gonna stop calling pass interference on me when I ain't do nothing. So
yeah.
he was hot about that, and he was right about that one. But if he would just turn around, damn, if he would just turn
that's
around.
what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he,
I didn't cut you off.
yeah, no, you're good. He's starting to turn his head around. He did get his head around on that. He did deflect the pass. And it was crazy because a similar play, Curtis Samuel, like the same thing happened with the Eagles, and they didn't call anything. But he's improving. Kendall Fuller's getting better on the back end too. Cam Curl, he's shutting it down. He's locking it down. Him and Defoe, they're doing their thing. Even Bobby McCain too. He's communicating better on the back end as well. So they are playing better. They're playing more physical. Danny Johnson, he's been an improvement. Now they haven't played Rashad. He's been a healthy scratch, and they elevated Danny Johnson to play in slot now. So they are playing together. They're playing as a unit. I mean, they're just getting better each week. I mean, Ben St. Juste has really, really improved. Ever since William Jackson went out, they just played together as a unit. So they're playing a lot better. Now, what I will say is the Eagles, that was the best wide receiver core they played against because, the Packers, they're struggling. They didn't have a number one guy, somebody that can really take the top off of defense. The Bears wide receiver core, Dante Pettis, Darnell Mooney. So, and Ben St. Juste, even in that game, they made big plays, and they've been tackling too. They tackle really well. Ben St. Juste on the 1 yard line stop that touchdown from Darnell Mooney, like that was a huge stop. So we got physical guys that are stepping up and tackling. Kendall Fuller made some big plays on Devontae Smith too, and on AJ Brown. So it's been a full 180 change, man. Ever since, I think starting with that Bears game, they made a 180 change, and the Colts game too. They made some big plays.
Oh yeah, but like that play Benjamin St. Juste made against the Bears. If you see us putting on T-shirts that say wild card or like see us entering the playoffs this year, that's the play that did it. That's the play that saved the season because
that's right.
We was about to be in Armageddon if we lost that Chicago Bears game.
It would have been a lot of man. Let's see what Sam Howell has. It would have been a lot of. Ain't nothing worse than your season being over before Halloween, boy.
My God.
Yeah.
And we've seen so many of those,
so many of those. Hell, there been seasons where we didn't even make it out of September. This shit was over.
Hell yeah.
We go to October and this shit's done. Like 19? That shit was over before we got to October. You know what I mean? Like,
bro, I've seen seasons end before my birthday. I'm birthday October 14th, bro. I've seen I've seen myself talking about the draft before my birthday.
That's terrible. We wait 6 months for football and it be over in a month.
Over in a month. That is worst feeling, bro. That shit is rough.
Like 2019 was so fucking
It was so bad, bro. Like,
was
as
terrible.
a content creator, that was my worst year. Like,
I can't
You had to get creative. You had to get real creative.
I give y'all all the props for that shit.
That was a chore watching them games, bro.
Hell yeah. And then you had to talk about it. You had to talk about it afterwards.
I feel like you had to clock in, boy.
That literally, you was punching the clock on that. Like, God damn, like, I gotta watch this shit.
Hell yeah, that shit was hard, bro.
Oh man!
And if it wasn't for a 2-point conversion in Miami, we were the first pick in the draft year. We could be in a totally different situation right now, bro.
Yeah, it might have been
Ron
better.
would have been put in the hardest position ever. I think Ron might have picked Burrow, bro.
Oh, he would have taken.
Oh yeah, he had
take Burrow.
He would have been gone.
That's crazy. We were a 2-point conversion in that fluky Lions win over going like what?
I mean,
it probably would have been better if they had.
Don't forget the toilet bowl against the Giants.
Chase Young Bowl.
Chase Young Bowl.
Chase Young Bowl.
That was the Chase Young game. We called it the toilet bowl, but that was the Chase Young Bowl, and that shit with the overtime. Daniel Jones like 5 touchdown passes.
They could have. They easily could have won that game. They actually should have went for 2, but Bill Callahan is so old school, and they should have went for 2 instead of tying it up to go to overtime.
Oh yeah, when Case Keenum came in, right? He came in clutched because Haskins when he rolled his ankle that game.
Yeah, and he was playing well too.
Yeah, that was it was one.
That was when we were actually starting to. She signs and flashes or something. Yeah. My God said JDR did a nice job mixing up coverages, and he had Allen. He even had Allen dropping back.
Yeah, I don't want to see that shit no more.
I don't ever want to see that shit ever again.
He was making a tackle like 18 yards down the field. I was like, nah, I don't want to see that no more.
Yeah. Like that's some Madden looking shit. Rico, you can close us out the secondary, man.
Man, I'm just so excited to see them working as a cohesive unit. I think that's just by far the biggest thing. Again, when you lose William Jackson, you do become technically less talented, and you lose athleticism, you lose speed. But overall, the mental and everybody being a cohesive unit, communicating, that's by far the most important thing. And that's why this defense is being consistent, because our defensive line is always great, but it's just been on and off with our secondary. And that's just determines how well our defense looks game to game. But we've been consistent, first of all, because of the secondary, also turnovers. We've been a suffocating defense after the Lions game, we've been fairly suffocating. But it was hard to say we were elite until you start to get some turnovers. Now we're starting to get those turnovers, and we can start having that elite discussion. I still need to see it a little bit more, especially against better competition. But they're playing very well, and those turnovers are game winners, game changers.
Hell yeah, man. You love to see it. My man said Rio do the Doug Williams Commander's voice. Oh, no, Doug Williams, I love listening to Doug talking. That boy is so country, man.
Country as hell.
He still got neck bones and mashed potatoes in his cheeks. And when we had the team announce the name with Craig Melvin and Jason, they were like, Doug, what is it? He was like, we the Commanders. I was like, yo, that's how we should say Commanders, every Commanders.
Louisiana, boy.
Hey, that accent is thick, boy.
Deep Louisiana swamp, boy.
He sound like his name Douglas.
For sure.
Yeah, for sure.
It's that Grambling State accent.
Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure. And to close out the defensive side of the ball, what are fair expectations for 99 through the duration of this season? Before I get to y'all, shout out to channel member Asia Robinson for the $5 super. She said, thank you for beating the Eagles. She's a Giants fan. Mark kept playing that stupid Commander song. Oh, yeah, I saw Mark Holmes was playing the Commander song on his street. Cowboy fans was wearing burgundy and gold last night. They wanted us to win so bad. They were like we were last night. They've been tired of hearing about the Eagles. By the way, keep me in your prayers. Your mom's in the hospital. Prayers to your family, players.
Absolutely.
Prayers and good energy to your moms, man.
Yep, prayers up.
Yeah, Asia, thank you for watching, and thank you for your super, by the way.
I ain't never heard that many people rooting for us before.
I know, it's crazy.
I had Vikings fans hitting me like, yo, we need this, bro. You know, y'all get it done. My sister's a Cowboys fan. She's like, I'm rooting for y'all. You know, Giants fans, like we galvanized the whole NFC last night. It's crazy.
That's great.
That's probably what helped us win.
We're actually imagine how likable we're gonna be when this dweeb bastard sells this team in a couple months, bro. We're gonna be so, and especially if them boys that's coming in here are the rumored boys that's coming in here. But right now, we just basking in the victory, and we talking 99. What are fair expectations of him? There's 7 games left in this season. Let's say he starts on Sunday. What are fair expectations for him for the duration of the season? I'll start with Ed.
Yeah, I guess since I brought him up, we didn't bring him up into the stream until like 45 minutes in. But yeah, I think like Ron says, maturity. He's got to be a leader. I think he's an energy spark guy. You know, he's been cheering on the sidelines. He always does that. He brings the energy. He brings the heat. But just maturity and playing discipline. You know, look at your bro Montez Sweat. Look at the way he's been playing football. Last year we saw them run past Josh Allen when we got blown out. You know, they pointed out running past quarterbacks, guys playing for themselves, trying to get numbers. I don't want to hear any talk about sack numbers, breaking records, none of that. Just play within the scheme. I'm not even worried about sacks anymore. Like I said before, I was like, oh, my bold prediction is 8 sacks. I want to just see pressures, him getting back there, quarterback knockdowns, the stunts and twists playing together, bowling balls, butcher knives, like Warren Sapp said, just playing together as a unit. That's what we need, because Casey Toohill, James Smith-Williams, I don't see them getting a bunch of sacks, but they're playing disciplined football. They're playing within their rush lanes. They're stopping a run. Chase Young is good at stopping a run too. So that's what I'm looking for from him. I know everybody's looking for sacks and numbers and, you know, generational talent thrown out there. But what this defense needs for him to come in, yes, I want to see him dominate. And when I did see him run, I know it was a week and a half ago, the video, it didn't look great, to be honest with you. He didn't look 100%. He didn't look healthy. That knee brace on his leg, it looks pretty bulky and heavy. I don't know if he's going to wear it on Sunday. But so to answer your question, my expectations for him, I really don't have any. I really don't. I don't have any expectations. I know it's not ideal to say that about your second pick of the draft. Of course, I want to see him go out there and dominate and have his presence felt. And I do want to see him force turnovers. I do want to see him. I don't want to see him do the Matt Ryan. I think he got in his head a little bit too. Like it was so bad where I feel like he got the yips a little bit where the Matt Ryan game last year where he just like kind of hit Matt in the head and he like slowed up. And all you had to do was wrap up and tackle him. I think it was mental with him. And I think I hope he's in a better space this year because plays like that show that he just wasn't himself last year. Right. So I just want to see him play disciplined football just like Montez Sweat is doing right now. Montez Sweat got a sack, but he's getting back there and getting pressures, playing together as a unit. I want to see him get some batted passes, force a fumble. I want to see him have fun for one thing too. I want to see him go out there and have fun playing a game too.
Enjoy, hell yeah, for sure. They say they want the ladies' man voice, Lou.
Hey, go ahead.
Ain't no ladies out here right now.
Nah, so what are the officials, man? He sounds like the ladies' man. I forgot his name.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I forgot his name, but I know exactly what you're talking about.
He kills me. First of all, he's terrible. He's one of the worst officials. He was the one that called the Seattle Seahawks the Seattle Mariners.
The Mariners.
Yeah, a couple weeks ago. But I always tell her, I always go, personal foul. What's the passer?
It's exactly
56. Defense. 15-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
That boy lisps strong as shit.
Right.
That's hilarious. Rico, what can we expect from Chase Young?
First of all, I agree with a lot of Ed's points. I feel like the one thing that I'm definitely not worried about with him is run stopping, because even while he was having a down year last year before he got hurt, at the very least he was run stopping. My main thing is don't be the William Jackson of the defensive line. Don't add talent, don't add athleticism, speed, and burst, but ruin the chemistry by playing undisciplined football. I don't think he would, but that's like one of my main things with him. And then when you look at the rest of the defensive line, I mean, our defense is playing so well. Why do we miss Chase Young? And I feel like the thing that makes him the most unique, because you can even argue Montez Sweat is probably slightly more athletic than him, just pure athleticism, at least running forward-wise. Chase Young does have a knack in his past, maybe not last year, but in his past of being our best strip sack guy. Like that was just like his thing. Just like Deron Payne is usually our better bat down the ball at the line of scrimmage defensive lineman. Chase Young's like the thing that kind of separates him from everybody, even during his rookie season, was that, he has a knack for stripping sacks. We thought, at least I did, going into last season, he was going to have a fantastic year after he strip sacked Cam Newton in the preseason, and it just looked like it was just back to business type of thing. I'm hoping he can just get to that. I'm hoping he adds that wrinkle to his game. Granted, he was hurt when he worked with Von Miller, but I do feel like him getting that one-on-one time with Von Miller that he was getting, it's nothing physical. It's all mental. It's all technique. It's all, hand usage counters and things like that. Hopefully Von Miller puts something in him that's going to, make him a more consistent pass rusher as far as that goes, a more sound, nuanced one. And I just want to see him create some turnovers, man. That's the biggest thing for me.
Hell yeah. I'm going to go right before Lou go. Oh, shout out to Duncan, by the way. Duncan mad as shit. Channel member. He's an Eagles fan. Yeah. The refs won it for you guys.
Cry, Eagles cry. That's what's
cry, Eagles
He don't
cry.
even believe that because he put it in all lower caps. He don't even believe that.
Hell yeah.
Hey, guys, Dunk, that's my guy. He be drunk half the time though.
Oh, that's my boy. Yeah, Duncan cool as shit. But hey, I'm just glad I don't gotta wear a hurt season hat, because that was my bet with Brunson. If they swept us, I gotta wear a hurt season hat on the show for a week. He was gonna make me a burgundy one, and it feels good that I don't have to wear that shit. I'm very happy. I need to stop doing shit like that. Yeah, I need to.
I don't know.
You do.
Yeah,
you a risky person.
We do it for the content, man.
You a different type of guy, boy.
Oh, you was about to take one for the team.
Hell yeah, man.
Take one for
Definitely.
The squad.
Shout out to the squad for holding us down, though. But Chase, I need to see two things. I need to see that he added to his pass rush arsenal. Use your hands. Show me you can win with skill and not with athleticism. You're not at DeMath or Ohio State anymore. You're not just going to out-athlete tackles every week, period. Play within the scheme. Show me you've added some nuance to your game. And give me 3 sacks in the next 7 games. 3. Make a game-changing play or 2. Game-altering move. Force a turnover or 2. It's not like specific numbers I need, but give me a couple sacks. Make a play that changes the game, and show me that you've added to the skill and nuance of your pass rush versatility. And I'm cool. don't look hurt because he's wearing that fucking restrictive ass Stone Cold Vibranium Terminator 2 knee brace
RG3
on his
joint.
leg. That shit looks like he can't walk in it. If you saw them dancing in the locker room, the dances wasn't even looking like fluid. It looked stiff.
Yeah.
I was like, ah.
He got more knee brace than leg, but
Yeah, he do. He got it's all brace. It's like he got a bionic leg over that motherfucker. But hey, I want to see Chase be great. I don't want to see Chase be Jadeveon Clowney. I don't want to see Chase be name your regular. Like I want Chase Young's baseline to be Ryan Kerrigan. Why can't we at least get Ryan Kerrigan out of Chase Young, the player we took with the second overall pick, with all the generational tags and comparisons attached to him when he came in here, and to see a local boy come in and do it, it'll be fucking beautiful, man. Lou, close us out on Chase.
I just want to see him be a playmaker. When he comes back, I think you guys hit all the points on the head. I want to see him assimilate himself well to the defense. Don't come in and play hero ball and try to do it yourself. You know, I expect him to be an upgrade over James Smith-Williams. Okay, that's first thing right off the rip. I expect him to be better than James Smith-Williams. So come in, be better than James Smith-Williams, right? And so I just want him to be a playmaker. Bat balls down, get to the quarterback. Even if it's not a sack, but you hit him and you affected the play. Like Rico said, he was the best at getting the ball out, getting, that Carolina game in his rookie season. He had like 2 forced fumbles in that game.
Oh
like
my
you
God.
almost
Handedly
expected
got us in it.
Yeah.
Steady.
Literally, you expected, when is Chase going to make a play? And so I just want to see him get back to being a playmaker on the football field. And to Rio's point, because he's not going to be explosive and dynamic this year as an athlete because he's coming back from his injury. It's just not going to happen this year. So what I want to see in place of that is the ability for him to be able to use his hands, be a technician, find a way to create ways to get to the quarterback other than you just trying to get around the edge with athleticism. So, yeah.
Oh yeah, man. Okay. You got rock?
Yeah.
All right. We go ahead. The goat's about to rock right now. You good? You gotta go?
Yeah, I'm about to get out of here.
All right, Lou. Y'all know the guy, Louis T. Appreciate you for joining the jump
no
for 2
doubt.
hours, man. Appreciate you, my boy.
All right, y'all. Y'all be easy.
Yes, sir. We'll do this
Appreciate
again.
it,
We'll do this again in December. Hopefully, we're talking playoff.
All right, yeah.
Yes,
I think we will be.
Appreciate you, my boy.
Take care.
All right. Yep. Lou got summoned for daddy duties, man. I know what that's like. I know what that call was like. I saw that look up. I said, okay, you know what that shit mean. But yeah, man, we all covered it with Chase, man. We just like I want to see him look like himself. And if he doesn't look like himself athletically, like Lou was just saying, I want to see if he can win with his hands and win with his head. Win with his plan, his pass rush plan. I've wanted him and Sweat to just develop a pass rush plan. Know what you want to do when you go into it. You're not just running past the quarterback all the time or trying to take the tackle in a straight line up the field. But yeah, man, I got one more question for y'all before we wrap for the night after I read this super. As much as I love Juice, he struggles against burners, Pearson Watkins. Kendall can still play, but he's getting older and might not come back. Castro Field has all the talent, but he's raw. Castro Field hasn't even really sniffed the field much at all this year.
Yeah, we had him.
I don't think he's been active at all.
Yeah, man, he's probably never going to play a part in this room. Wild Goose actually has some decent days here. He actually had some days where he wasn't just a random Rashad Wild Goose, bro. Like I thought the first time we seen him, it was bad. That Eagles game was bad, bro. It was like really, really bad. And then he started to make an impact on the defense and was close to making some big game-changing plays. But to close this out, 7 games left to finish the season. How do y'all see the team finishing out the year? How many wins you got in these last 7? And which ones do you got us winning? And do we make the playoffs? Ed, go ahead.
Ooh, I'm gonna go 9. I said 9 and 8 before the season started. Damn, because the Niners, 4
and 3. We got the Giants twice, the Texans, the Falcons, the Browns, the Niners, the Cowboys, and the Texans. Those are the 7 games.
Yeah, you're gonna have to get 10 to get in because Tampa's gonna win their division. You got to beat San Fran, so damn, you gotta go 10-7. You know, I said 9-8 to start the season.
They gotta get to 10, bro.
Yeah, you gotta get to 10 because San Fran, Jimmy G. You say what you want about Jimmy, but he just wins the game. It is what it is. So they're gonna win. Yeah, Heinicke. You know, he's got that magic to him. So I'm gonna say he's gonna go on a Nick Foles kind of run, and we'll finish up 10-7. I said 9-8 before. We'll go to 10.
That would make me happy because I was drinking the Kool-Aid this offseason. I was going 11-6, and it would make me very happy. Yeah, exactly, bro. We was drinking that shit in the offseason, bro. Like, Rico, what you got? How you got us finishing up, man?
I do see us making the playoffs. I think we're going to win the games that we need to win. I'm really hoping we can make it at 9-7. I mean, the 49ers have a lot of injuries too. And I mean, they've still found ways to win up to this point. But I think especially if we go and beat them and knock them out, I think we can make it at 9-7. But I mean, 9-8, but 10-7 is definitely – I think 10-7 maybe all NFC East teams even get in. But then again, I mean, we would probably end up beating the Giants twice. So maybe we would knock them out and get them spiraling down in the season on a bad note, but they were so inspired at the beginning of the season. They're probably going to carry on with a positive attitude going into the offseason anyway. So they don't need this like we need this with Ron Rivera's third year. We're going to play more urgency and things like that. I can see us winning 10-7. We better beat the Falcons. We should beat the Texans. I feel like we got to beat the Giants at least once. I can actually, for some reason, I just feel like we should beat the 49ers. I feel like we will end up beating them. I think they're just going to be hurt by the time we play them. We'll see about the Browns. We'll see about the Cowboys, but I think we'll finish 10-7.
10-7. I'm gonna keep it even. I'm gonna be a little humble. I think we do get the 7th and final wild card spot, but I think it's at 9-8. Like 4-3 sounds like the way we will finish the season. Like 5-2 sounds so good. It sounds amazing. But I say we split with the Giants. We beat the Texans. So I got the Texans, the Giants, the Browns, and the Falcons. There we go. 4 wins. Falcons, Browns, Texans, Giants. There we go. Those are our 4 wins, 9-8. And
so you guys lose to the Cowboys at home in the last game?
Ooh, no. We got to take one of them back. No, we're not. Did I say the Browns? We're not beating the Browns. We beat the Cowboys. We're gonna lose on New Year's Day to the massage man himself, and then we're gonna beat Dallas in our all whites, the white on whites, and punch our ticket to the postseason. 9-8, 7th seed, and we're gonna get Philly in the first round. We're going right back up to the link to settle this once and for all. You know, they got us week 4. We got them on Monday night for the whole world to see. We'll see y'all at the link when y'all are the 2nd seed because Minnesota's gonna get the 1 seed in the NFC to me now. I don't know. What y'all think? Who y'all think will get the 1st seed?
The Eagles' schedule is like really.
It's food.
I think the Eagles. I'll probably vote the Eagles for the number 1.
But actually, you know what? The Colts with Jeff Saturday, you know what? They got a little spark going on. But I think the Eagles would win that.
And I think they're gonna play angry for the remainder of the season. After the way we embarrassed them and we're dancing in the locker room and celebrate, I think the Eagles are gonna play probably angry for the rest of the season and finish out number 1 seed.
Champagne in their locker room last night. It was in that joint super lit. They definitely have to bounce back from that one. And this one, we're going to conclude the stream at this point, man. We're going for 2 hours and 12 minutes per usual. It was great. It was fired, kicking it with y'all, kicking it with all the big dogs in the Washington community. Rico, they already know, but let folks know who don't where they can find you, man.
Yes, sir. You can find me on YouTube, Street Scores, on Twitter, Street Scores ATL. Let's ride this season out. Hopefully by the time the next stream comes along, we're playoff bound, but we're not super stressed. Like we need these last 2 games. Hopefully it's like if we win these last couple, we're good, man. Oh yeah, man. Ed?
Yes, sir. It's the real Ed Oliver, not the one from the Bills. You can find me if you type in Ed Oliver Commanders on YouTube. You'll find me. I do Locked On Wizards too. The Wizards are on a 4-game win streak, so make sure you guys
teams, the top teams in the West.
Yeah, there you go. And then I do real estate in Maryland. I know Louis would bring it up too, so make sure you hit me up on it.
Hell yeah, go holler at Ed. You need a crib in Maryland, man. Let's go. But appreciate my guys for hopping on the stream. Appreciate the chat. We've almost 500 strong for the majority of the last hour of the chat. Y'all make sure y'all smash that like button. Keep repping your squad. Hell to the Commanders. Put your left hand up if you want to. At some point, we all got to unite in that shit. But appreciate y'all for stopping by tonight. We need to win the game on Sunday versus the worst team in the NFL. Point blank, period. Until next time, hell to these Washington Commanders. Hell Victory Tuesday. Deuces.